Damn you, YouTube, for changing this interface. Damn you.
Here you go. You want your cat?
Erica. Let's see if this works now. Restream is killing me with this. Here we go. Is this a stream? Is this YouTube a stream? Maybe. One moment. Let's see if I can get this to actually work. Does this work on Twitch? It works on Twitch. Does this work here? Works here. Do you have the little Sharky?
I have this guy.
No, this guy. This guy's a bum.
What a bum.
He's a bum.
He is not a bum.
Fix my digitizer on my iPad 2. Didn't the iPad 2 come out in 2010? Still holding AMC and GME. I never bought AMC. Joshua Bardwell was jealous of your stream setup with Mr. Clinton. Ah, well, I can't blame him. Mr. Clinton is adorable. There are some other cats that are not adorable that try to pretend like they're like Mr. Clinton. Like this bum over here. But Mr. Clinton is adorable. It seems Joshua has good taste in kitties. Actually, excellent taste in kitties. Oreo is an introvert cat Lewis adopted. He's not an introvert. He screams and cries for food constantly. He goes, "Row, row." He's the whiniest cat I've ever met. Who is the guy with Mr. Clinton? Have a great birthday party. I think he had a decent, half-decent birthday party. He's a good boy. Mr. Clinton has always been a good boy. Yeah, what is that? Ah, I broke something. Uh-oh. I broke something. Uh-oh, one moment. What is your opinion on Samsung products? Samsung makes way too many products to be able to answer that question. They make way... I mean, I think... most people know Samsung for phones, and I think that they're just one of many companies that decided to follow Apple off the deep end into all the things that make them bad, while not following any of the things that makes Apple good. Yeah. Do the cats bring dead mice or rats? No, there's no cat that's stupid enough to come into this apartment. You got to be a dumbass mouse to come into this apartment. There are no mice that come into this apartment. Like, it just doesn't happen. It's not a thing. They are not stupid enough. What do you think about Linux? If it's kind of like using Windows, except it takes 10 times longer to figure out how to do anything. And 21 years, actually no, not 21, 19 years after I started using it, very little has fucking changed. I'm actually using Linux right now. I got Jack Audio working, and I did what you're supposed to do. When you have a very specific and unique problem in Linux, what you're supposed to do is you never go back to the original thread and post how you solve the problem. You go back to the original thread and you say, figured it out, thanks, ! And you never, ever, ever tell anybody how you solved the problem. That's what I did. So I had a very unique problem with Jack Audio. I'm kidding. I'm eventually going to make a detailed write-up for it and go back to the thread. I just got so excited when I figured out the ridiculous asinine thing that had been driving me nuts for a while and that was not documented everywhere. Thoughts on Lori Lightfoot in Chicago? I don't know. She seems kind of like a meme mayor, similar to de Blasio. I don't live in Chicago, so I can't really speak for that. That's really kind of the thing for people who live in Chicago to be able to speak on. I don't really have many thoughts on it. She seemed like just one of many people that made COVID rules that they themselves could not follow. If the Apple self-repair program isn't being good, we switch to the iPhone mini. If the iPhone program is good, I cannot switch to an iPhone mini because I need a headphone port. But if that's a real program and it's not bullshit, I will consider an M1 MacBook. You should post more of the music you listen to in the future. I like your taste. Yes, I will get an M1 MacBook for myself, and then I will give my ThinkPad to Erica, so that she has a computer. Which Linux distro do you use? I'm using Ubuntu. I used Gentoo for 12 years, and that was really kind of the worst 12 years of my life. There's a picture of myself when I was 20 years old. I found a picture, and I actually had gray hairs. I had gray hair when I was 20. I have a lot more now, but I did have gray hairs even when I was 20, and I found proof of that today. And I think 99% of those gray hairs were from trying to get portage to actually install packages without constant conflicts. You have talked about John Deere and right to repair. How does Caterpillar stack up? That's a great question for people that work in that business. I wish I could give you an answer. I cannot because I barely know jack. I don't know jack shit when it comes to... I don't use construction equipment. I don't know how else to put it. I don't build things. I fix MacBook boards. Now, I can kind of talk about the general principles when it comes to other equipment, but in terms of how are they with repairability and releasing manuals and all that stuff, I don't know. That's a great question. If Apple allows individual customers to purchase OEM parts but does not allow repair shops like yours to make purchase of repairs in bulk, would you allow customers to bring their own OEM parts from Apple? That's kind of a meme question. Yes and no. When customers bring their own parts, the whole point of it usually is I don't trust you to figure out what's wrong with the device. I want you to replace the part that I told you is wrong. So for instance, common meme repair. On a MacBook that uses EDP, not LVDS, but embedded display port, they will bring me a display cable when their screen doesn't work, and they'll want me to replace the cable because they found the cable online for $5. What they're saying is not, I want you to use my part. What they're saying is, I don't trust you now, fuck me over, replace my $5 cable because I want this to be a $5 repair. It's never the $5 repair. Like 1% of the time it's the $5 repair, but that's when you don't have a screen. When you actually have a screen with distorted image, most of the time that is not the EDP cable. And when you do have an issue with the distorted screen, it's not the EDP cable, it's actually an issue with the LCD Flex by itself, which is not the EDP. Do you support right to repair? If so, why? I do because I believe in having the maximum amount of freedom when you're not harming other people, and I don't think that fixing your own stuff harms other people. Just saw your community post. Why do you owe your landlord $60K? Because I'm kind of like the guy that buys GameStop at $450 and wonders why he's not making money. So I moved to a new store, spent money refurbishing the new store to be beautiful and everything that I wanted to be, got fucked over by the first contractor, got everything done. And then weeks after everything was done, COVID. Are you scared Apple's recent self-repair move will hurt our right to repair bills? I made a video about it recently. I'm afraid that reps will take the bait. 100%. It's going to be. I think it's going to be a meme program. I think it's going to be half-assed for several things. I think it's going to be half-assed because the first time, and I know a bunch of people are going to give me shit. I said thank you for the IRP program. So I've learned my lesson to wait until more information is out before I own myself again. But more importantly, this claims that it is based in the IRP program. And the IRP program is a meme. So if the IRP program is a meme, and this program is based on the IRP program, that means that this program is probably going to be a meme. And if this program is going to be a meme, that sucks. And I want it to not be a meme, but again, I learned my lesson next time. I learned my lesson last time. So the problem is twofold. A, this is going to be most likely a meme program. B, even if it's not a meme program, it's one company. Right to repair bills are not about like the right to repair Apple products. It's right to repair in general. It's not just one product. Don't you dare use acronyms on me. I will time you out immediately. Use words. You try to get your kitty to press a keyboard button. He can move. He's literally paralyzed. Do you feel Apple's new repair program is trying to make the public feel like right to repair has already won over to lower support for it? Yes. One of the things I really found interesting, this is something that's kind of crazy, is What they're doing is they're saying, okay, like, they keep calling it a win for right to repair in the press. How is this a win? Like, it's not even out yet. We haven't seen the program. What parts are being made available? I don't know. Will you be able to buy a charge port to an iPhone? I don't know. Will the manuals be useful? I don't know. Do you get schematics, diagrams, chips? I don't know. Are all the parts going to be $900? I don't know. Like, yeah, I can't. You can't call the fact that it's being called a win immediately is kind of strange. When will you get the third cat to complete the Oreo? Oh, hi Oreo. You're looking at me. I have 2 other cats already. They're just being lazy and they're not showing up. What do you think about the framework? Do you think there'll be more flexibility in the future, such as the option for dedicated GPUs? If they make enough money off the first set. Flexibility and different options are going to come when they have money. Money is going to come from people buying their product. People are going to buy their product when they have more options. More options is going to come when they have more money. More money comes when more people have their product, and so on and so forth in a circle. So that's a tough one, because again, here's $2 for your rent. Give more, but I'm broke. If you're broke, please keep the money. You need it more than I do. If you're absolutely broke, I've been broke before. It has sucked. I am not broke now. I am just a stupid business person. There is a difference. Gonna buy a MacBook. Is the 2015 15-inch Retina MacBook Pro AMD GPU 00163 any good? It's not. I mean, you're asking the wrong person if you want to buy a MacBook. I don't know. It's a MacBook. I'll leave it at that. It doesn't have any serious major design flaws, but at the end of the day, it is a MacBook. But no serious design flaws that I know of. Just have the fans run fast so your GPU doesn't die. That machine runs boiling hot all the time. But gold, silver, and platinum shit is about to hit the fan. Good luck, Raymond, says Raymond Chamas. Silver has not been a particularly amazing investment this year. Neither is gold, honestly. Then again, I'm not an investment advisor. Just my opinion. Appraisal time. Also, thank you, Raymond. Dealing with shitty upper management of Indian branch of a U.S.-based organization makes you realize how extremely exploitative they are. Appraisal time? Shitty upper...
Sweet mercy.
What does that mean? Huh. Sorry to hear that. Are extended car warranties ever worth it? Your call. I said a lot of things while I was in the car today because I got a call from one of them again about what I'd like to do to those people, and it sounded very much like Liam Neeson, and I think that my channel would get taken down if I advocated for violence, so I'm not going to do that. So I can't tell you what I think of them. I do not want my channel to get struck down because it's advocating for violence, but
Sweet mercy.
what do you do? Also, the world needs Linux. You need a Linux phone. I am using Linux right now, actually. Let's see. Do I have anything on the screen I can't show you? This is Linux right here. Got Carla. Got my little patch bay. Check this out. Yeah, let's see. Display. Do I have anything on the screen I can't show you? Probably. I'll figure it out later. See? Linux! Sweet mercy. All your base are belong to us. Hello, Antoine. That's a really old meme. That's over 22 years old. That's a 22-year-old meme. Uh-oh. The YouTube chat is no longer working. Uh-oh, the window is broken. If you have a Mac, fan control is your friend. Yes, it is, because they run insanely hot. Crap. The YouTube chat window died. I need to get another chat window.
Sweet mercy.
Would you be content if Apple made all chips available, even if they're still the only middleman? Listen, I don't care I don't care who I'm buying them from. I don't care if they get dispensed from Tim Cook's asshole. If I'm able to get access to them, to be honest with you. Granted, they may wind up smelling a little bit. But really, like, I'm not a stickler about these things. Just make shit available so that people can fix their stuff. How you make it available, I don't particularly care. Sweet mercy.
Oh, sweet mercy.
You're telling me, Erica. You're telling me. Interesting. The fader in OBS doesn't work. Can I show you guys this? Check this out. Look at this. I'm going to try to drag this fader. Watch what happens when I try to drag the fader. See this? I go to drag the fader, and when I go to drag the fader,
Oh, sweet mercy.
it actually doesn't allow me. The mouse winds up in the upper corner of the stream. Is that cool or what? Look at this. This is Linux in real time. This is Linux being Linux in real time. Ready? This is the fader so that I could lower Paul Daniels making a noise. I click the fader. I drag it to the left, and the mouse is now in the upper left corner of the screen moving the window instead of moving the fader. Yo, that's Linux right there for you. Shit never work right. 20 years in. I never change, Linux. Never fucking change. What's your favorite genre of music, and do you have a favorite cat? I don't know if I have a favorite genre of music. Goes back and forth between the kind of Herb Alpert stuff that I posted to my community page, that you can find there, and stuff like Dream Theater, Alice in Chains' Jar of Flies album, stuff like that. I like stuff like Alice in Chains' Jar of Flies album. But I don't have a favorite genre. Definitely don't have a favorite genre. Longtime viewer of the channel, just want to support your cause. Do you think Apple will price repair in such a way to make it not worthwhile? That is, I mean, again, if we're just looking at evidence and like what, if we're just looking at to the past to determine what's going to happen in the future, I would guess yes. I want to see the program first. Let's give him a chance before we shit on him. But again, you're not giving me much reason to think otherwise. Mr. Oreo is asking for his behind to be scratched. He probably is. He probably is. What did I miss something before? Let me see what I missed. I know I missed something. And I'm going to feel guilty for... I can't find it. I feel like shit. I know I missed something and I can't find it. Just want to say you are a fantastic speaker and your word choice analysis is top notch. I don't think I'm a great speaker. Honestly, if I could go back in time, I probably would have figured out how to do everything so that there would be less culture wars from the pro-Apple crowd. But at the end of the day, I never thought anybody was going to listen to this shit anyway. Could I ask if you keep AMA streams on YouTube, create new playlist? In case I ask question, you give answer, but I forget a day later. I don't know. It depends. I do most of these videos around like 1 or 2 in the morning, and God knows if I said something that I probably shouldn't be saying. Maybe. I'll think about it. Your thoughts on DARPA having robots on the moon? I don't know about how I feel about that. It's kind of...
Oh, sweet mercy.
I kind of wonder, is it like being tested on the moon to see how it works out there before you have robots here doing most of the work that we used to do? How far are we from having robots do all the work over here that we used to do? Brags about Linux, Linux fights back. Yo, Linux is never going to work right. You could give this shit 50 years. There'll always be something. Like, again, I just found this meme. I didn't even know this was a bug until just now. Click display. Check. Take mic. Okay, now it's working. This is working, but this one. So this fader over here.
Sweet mercy.
This fader is not movable, but this fader is movable. Why? Who the fuck knows? Watch this. Again, you click the fader. And the mouse winds up here. Why? Linux, baby. It's always something. Are you a fan of Hugh Jeffries, big supporter of Right to Repair? I think he's a good dude, and I am happy that people like him are supporting Right to Repair. I love all the content he produces. There was one time that he mistook the CPU and the PCH and said the heatsink is not making contact with the CPU. This is not good, either on a Retina or an Air. And I'm thinking that's because that's not the CPU, that's the PCH, but I forgive you because you make good content. But he's a good dude. And he's probably, I hope he grows to be bigger than I am. I think he will. The teardowns that he does are honestly way better than the teardowns that I do. The teardowns that he does on new products are very popular. He knows exactly what to hit. He's a talented presenter. He's a good dude. And I think that he's going to be very successful. And I also am happy and honored and humbled to have people like him advocating for Right to Repair. He's a good dude. Your local electronics engineer checking in, saying thank you and happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Oh, sweet mercy.
Do you like Steely Dan or Herbie Man? I like Steely Dan. Sometimes Donald Fagen gets to me but with the singing, but I like Steely Dan from time to time. I can't listen to too much of it because it's just too much cheese. If you eat too much cheese, it's not good for you. And if you listen to too much cheese, it's not good for you. But I like myself some Glamour Profession from 5 minutes and 19 seconds.
Mercy.
Glamour profession from 5 minutes and 19 seconds. That's my jam. Are you at all worried about non-powertrain reliability of Tesla when warranty ends and do you think you want to purchase an extended warranty Keck? I know Rich Rebuilds. I got nothing to worry about. I will roll up my sleeve. Oh, non-power. I'll roll up my sleeves and get in there with Rich Rebuilds and we'll figure it out. It can't be harder than a MacBook. Why'd you switch to Linux? To torture myself, because I hate myself, because I want there to be random bugs in everything I do. You know how when I used to just take this and just literally just drag a fader? I want the mouse to randomly show up on different parts of the stream. I hate myself, and I think I'm not kidding. I think I hate myself, and I want to punish myself, and part of the ways that I punish myself in life is I use Linux. Any opinions on recent Harambe discussions? I have no opinions on anything regarding an ape that died many years ago. I think it's sad that they shot him. I don't think he should have been shot, but I'm not a zookeeper. I am not a zookeeper. I work at Battery Plus Bulbs in Toledo, Washington. If independent repair becomes illegal, we'll be out of business overnight. Thanks for keeping up the good fight. Thank you, Brian McKenzie. Try a tiling window manager like i3WM. It is different to learn, but I think you'll like your Dota streams. Please dispense white pill. What's a white pill? I don't know what a white pill is. I used to use XFCE, and it's the way that it handles scaling on a 4K monitor is just so bad that I can't. I much prefer XFCE to KDE or any of this plasma shit. I much prefer XFCE. The problem is that I'd have to get a 1080p monitor, and I don't have one here, and 1080p looks like shit on this particular monitor that's in front of me. So I am... you can't go over... you can go over 1080p, but it just looks really shitty. I fixed Mac here in Sao Paulo since 2004. I learned everything I know by myself and also watching a lot with your videos. Thank you very much. Well, you started 4 years before me, so you should be ahead of me. You're probably ahead of me. Linux is like a headache that never goes away. Sometimes you just forget about the pain for a moment. Yes, correct. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much you try. There'll always be something. There'll always be something. Why are you negative to yourself sometimes? I don't think I'm negative. I'm just a Linux user. Do you think making a career change is a smart move now with all things considered? I think recessions are the best time to make career changes. Would you be doing sponsorships and videos now? For enough money? Maybe. Depends on what it is, too. Like, I'm not shilling Raid Shadow Legends or that garbage data recovery software that doesn't work. I shouldn't even call it that. Like that Wondershare trash. Like I would never shill that. Give me $100,000 to shill that. I wouldn't shill it once. Like stuff like Wondershare, those pieces of software are just fundamentally a scam. They advertise the software in a manner where they make it sound like you could get data from a phone that's dead, and that's just complete and utter misleading bullshit. But for the right thing, sure. I'd love to sponsor like Vandersteen Audio, Framework, ThinkPads if they release schematics and shit. Hey, I've been following and learning from you forever. Can you recommend more places to learn? Moderately successful so far. Thanks. Check out EEV Blog. I'm going to type it in the chat here. EEV Blog. Watch a lot of his stuff. And you can ask questions in his forum. There's a lot of nice people on that forum. They have vast disagreements on how much flux you're supposed to use. But, we've had some interesting conversations in the forum about the amount of flux that you have to use. But they're good people. They mean well, even if a good amount of them hate me. I like EV Blog. I like Dave Jones. We talk from time to time. We have a friendly demeanor. There's a lot you could learn from watching his channel. He's a good dude. And his forum's a good place. The Corgan one is better than the Macam one. I don't necessarily disagree with you there. What I would suggest is also watching stuff like Jessa Jones at iPad Rehab, STS Telecom's YouTube channel, Tim Herman, TCRS Circuit. Who else?
Oh, sweet mercy.
Jesse Cruz at VCC Board Repairs. Check out this dude's channel. Where do you see the future of the USA and why? I don't know, more people hating each other over... I think we've kind of passed the point where everything is a conflict to the point where it's impossible to actually solve any conflict or crisis. It's impossible to solve a conflict because people will try to figure out, thank you, Captain America, which side of it they're supposed to be on, and then just kind of stick to that side to stick it to the other one. I don't see that changing. I think I wonder if we've passed the point of no return there. I hope not, but... What? I don't know how to pronounce that first word. I'll take your $5 though. Queensryche. I like Queensryche. Doomsday Killer says, what do you think of Norm Macdonald? Let's Google. Norm Macdonald is a stand-up comedian and writer. I've never met or heard
Sweet mercy.
of this gentleman before. Sorry, no idea. Have you ever watched Lisi P. Martini, the band manager of Guar? He streams on YouTube on Saturdays and seems like you'd enjoy his humor. Honestly, when it comes to humor, I don't get much out of watching anybody but Bill Burr. Nowadays, most comedy isn't funny to me. I find Bill Burr to be fucking hysterical. Like, I can rewatch his 2012 special all day long, and it just keeps hitting and hitting and hitting. It's amazing. It's quality stuff. I'm getting into dealing with being an authorized repair service. Where do you think I should draw the line? Where do you think the line of sharing inside information should be drawn fairly? That's up to how much trouble you want to get in. Say meow to your cat, and have you ever found Bitcoin in abandoned PCs? I don't look through them. I usually format them immediately. What we do is when someone abandons a computer, we will, after we've tried to contact them and get them to pick it the fuck up, if, you know, we'll sell the computer and reassemble it, but we'll keep the drive in a little shelf. So just in case they call back, you can always get another computer. You can't get your data back. And if after 1 or 2 years they don't call us back, then we just smash the drive that had their data on it or format it. But I don't look through people's stuff. It's like, you have any faith in mainstream media in the U.S.? I trash Rittenhouse coverage. No, I don't. I read a lot of it, but I'll read it, but I don't, because again, they're the ones that are out there actually getting the information. I don't have the time to go out there and manually, ask people questions and film shit and all that. But there are just so many times where it's like, are you feeding me the truth, or like you adding a little bit of bullshit in there as you're going? And for the last 7 years, I've just been, when I read stuff, I'll notice your $5 does matter, but the word that you used in the beginning is not a word that I can read because I don't know how to read it because I'm uneducated. And I'm reading it. I'm just thinking, you're injecting a little something in there. You're injecting a little something extra in there, and I don't know if that's appropriate. And it makes me more and more skeptical. And then stuff like the Rittenhouse trial happens, and then it's just, wow. We actually had an interesting argument at the store about that. Let's see. I think it was myself and one other person that thought that he was not guilty versus the rest of the store that thought he was. I've never had a rule. Did you ever check out Peter Zeihan? Nope, I did not. I'm sorry. I have not checked out Peter Zeihan. I have not made the time for it. I will add it to my list, but this list has 33 post-it notes on it at this time. So now this is going to be post-it note number 34. I don't want to be one of those businesses where you're not allowed to discuss politics at work, because I've seen what happens to so many companies nowadays where somebody makes a mention of something political that they're not supposed to and they get fired, or there's a backlash against that particular employee, or there's a backlash against that particular boss, or they stage a walkout or some shit. So one of the things that I've done is I've always tried to you kind of have to nip that shit in the ass at the beginning, and you'll figure out which employee, again, your ethics are awesome. Love your tell this guy to quit his job video, integrity above all. Yeah, I was in his position. And if I was this close to not doing it. And if I didn't do it, I'd be stuck working at Laptop MD right now, ripping people off left and right. And I don't want to do that. But I was very close to staying there. I didn't think I knew anything about business. I didn't know if I knew, was appropriate in my thoughts. I was young, I was naive, and I was dealing with people that were kind of manipulative. We've been trying to reach you about your bicycle's extended warranty. You don't make bike extended warranties. What was I saying about the politics thing? Oh, you have so many work environments nowadays where you're not, if you talk about politics, you get fired, or the boss doesn't, or you don't get fired, but you get retaliated against, whether you're the boss or the employees. I hate that shit. Like, so many people at work massively disagree with each other on so many things, but they can talk, they get their points across, they're respectful, and then they get their shit out after 10 minutes and they go back to work. And I've always kind of wanted to keep that kind of environment. I never want this to be a place where I have to worry if I voice my opinion that there's going to be an employee walkout stage because they hate me. So one of the things I've done is before, when I first started hiring people, where do I get electronics to tinker with cheaply? eBay and Craigslist, honestly. Get cheap shit. Like, don't start soldering on a MacBook M1. Start soldering on an Acer 5517. Get shit that you can get for free or close to free and work on that. Get a working one and a dead one and see if you can match up what's wrong. See if you can figure out what's different in the dead one than the working one and go back and forth between it. Buy 3 of them. Buy a working one, and a dead one so that you can, and go from there. What if your possible sponsor doesn't approve of your Christmas tree around video concept? Would you remove the tree for a 5% reduction in debt? Ooh, that's a good one. Would I remove my Christmas tree if they would take off 5% of my debt? I want to say that I'm mature enough to say yes, but I know I'm not mature enough to go through with it. I would say fuck that, no, and I would let pride get the best of me, and I would tell them to gargle my balls. Which I'd like to say yes, but I don't think I'm mature enough to stick to it. I think I would wind up saying fuck that on principle and out of stubbornness. Yeah. I want to answer the thing that I was saying before, but it's never going to happen. I don't think it's meant to be. It's my friend's birthday. Could you wish him a happy birthday? His name is... Suck my dick, you cunt. You fucking cunt. You piece of shit. I will take your $5 and you can gargle my balls. Well, what was I saying? I never want to have the type of workplace where if one employee says something wrong, 8 of them are going to come into my office and say, you need to fire him. He has an opinion that's not in line with Fox and / or CNN, or where people are like staging a walkout because I said something that may be against them. I don't know what any of those are. What is Tetra and what is Project 25? Why do you expect me to know what these things are? Project 25. What is that? Project 25, Technology Interest Group, ability to meet air interoperability among agencies. Dude, I don't fucking know. I appreciate the $2. Thank you very much, but I have no idea what this shit is. Like, one of the very important things with company culture is you have to set it early and you have to be consistent with it. And then the people that don't fit will just kind of, walk themselves out. And, yeah, we had some good debate on Rittenhouse in the store. And, it was kind of fun. Your integrity gives you a natural BS detector. Captive America funded $2. Thank you. I don't know if I have much integrity, but I appreciate the implication that I have integrity. Is going into tech effectively a suicide attempt if I have contrarian views? I don't know. I don't think so. Depends on what company you work for and depends on the office. Again, be open with all this shit in the job interview. Like, I'm serious. Like, a job interview is as much for you as it is for them. If you like balanced news, you like Russell Brand. Yes, the actor. He's come a long way in his takes for quality. Believes in spiritual unity. I will check it out. I try to avoid subscribing to politically based people because it'll lead you down a rabbit hole, and I don't like being led down other people's rabbit holes. But I'll check it out. What do you think of the Wisconsin guy driving over people? I don't know. I read the news about that a day ago, and it said that a guy was driving over people during some Christmas parade or march, and they don't know why yet. And I haven't seen if there's an update on it. That sucks. I don't know if it was intentional or not yet, but if it was intentional, fuck him. If it wasn't intentional, I'd really like to figure out why. Do you think the internet has gotten boring? No, I don't think the internet's gotten boring. I think a site called Ground News is really good. They give you the headline with all the left-wing and right-wing sources and let you see the bias in each. Okay, that's an interesting site. I'm going to bookmark that. Ground News. You are in my bookmarks.
Oh, sweet mercy.
Things like Rittenhouse and O.J. Simpson, nobody wins. The media who made $1 zillion off of your click does. Yeah, and here's the thing. The madder you get, the more money they make. There was this one thing that posted on Reddit, which is that hating other groups of people, well, it can actually give you a sense of meaning and purpose and make you feel better about your life. Or that whole fight of you against the other. I think it was in R Science or r/Data's Beautiful. I forget, but it was one of the front page items in the last week and a half. And I don't think that that's wrong. I think they might actually have a point. What do you know about compilers? I'm never watching Gentoo compile programs again for the rest of my life. Don't talk to customers about politics is a good work policy. Yeah, don't talk to customers about it, fine. But like if you work every day right next to somebody and you talk about a bunch of shit, it's impossible to eventually not discuss something that matters to you. And I really like the fact that anytime those kind of discussions are broken out here, people don't hate each other. Or maybe they do. They're just hiding it. I really shouldn't say that. I don't know what people think. Maybe they do. Maybe they're just hiding it. Maybe my staff all hate me. Again, it's very, very, very possible. Very possible they all think I'm a cunt. You never know. Destroyer format. No, think of how much of a crime a Hunter Biden laptop would get. Can consumers push right to repair regulation? The only way. They could by choosing not to buy products that are anti-right to repair. The problem is that we already lost. Show me the cell phone that you could get a schematic to. Show me the major desktop PC motherboard that will sell you a schematic. We already lost in that way. I would say vote with your wallet, but vote with your wallet was an excellent thing to do 20 or 30 years ago. Now, best of luck with that. The way you vote is by not being involved at all. Have you ever used Tire Sia's GPU killer from Simi Zapper to solve the MacBook Pro 2011 problem? Used it 4 times, done, no more GPU. I have never used it, and that computer has gotten to the wayside to the point where that computer is so old, it's gotten to the point where if I tell somebody any service they need on it is more than 25 or 30 bucks, they give me the side eye like I'm ripping them off. So it has kind of dropped off of the radar of things that show up at the store. Who is better, Linus Torvalds or Linus Tech Tips? No shade against Linus. No shade against Linus from Linus Tech Tips. He's a good dude, but Linux kernel, really? Come on. Like, one of them contributed a bunch of entertaining content to society, and another made possible the operating system that when I want to change the volume of jack desktop audio in this fader, literally doesn't work and moves my mouse all the way to the other side of the screen. Actually, you know what? Let me debate there. Now, listen, as shitty as Linux is all this time in, I still would say Linus, because the internet runs on Linux a lot of the internet runs on Linux, even if actually trying to use it as a desktop operating system is the meme. Project 596. I don't know what those things are, man. You gotta give me something better than that. I appreciate the $2. Thank you, but I don't know what the shit this is. The first nuclear weapons test conducted by the People's Republic of China detonated on October of 1964. That's not a question. That's I don't know, nuclear weapons test. I don't know. I don't know what to do with that. Planet Tierra for $1.99. Thank you. Your annoyance of Linus Tech Tips has gone down. Usually you would ignore that Linus question with a gargle, says John. Huh? You should try Fedora. More up-to-date packages are pretty stable. No. We're not going into distro wars. Lewis, you're using Mandrake. You should use Fedora. Lewis, you're using Red Hat. You should be using Slackware. Lewis, you're using Slackware. You should be using Gentoo. Here's the real red pill. You want to know the real red pill? Regardless of which distribution of Linux you use, it'll never work. Fun fact, your bank can block you from commenting. What? Is YouTube success luck or skill? I don't know if it's a skill. I just think it's making what people want. A lot of people on these forums or Reddit r/Apple or Mac Rumors, they'll say, this guy just found a quick and easy path to fame. And that's what it is. Is morality objective or subjective? I think you can come up with an objective framework for ethics, and people have tried. There are people who have written books on that, are trying to come up with an objective framework for secular ethics. I never took the time to read the entire books, but people have tried. I never made this channel with the idea that anybody would want to watch. And, people have said, I don't know why when you started talking about this as an issue that you didn't do it in a different way. And I literally made this channel to be man screams at world. I used to go to, what do you know about compilers? I know literally nothing about compilers, other than that I don't want to use Gentoo anymore, and I don't want to watch my shit compile. And I don't want to deal with fucking dependency conflicts and all that other shit. I just want my shit to work, man. 12 years of Gentoo, I just want my shit to work. I used to go, I remember seeing a therapist. My therapist was asking me how to make his sound card work in Windows 8 because his drivers weren't working from Windows 7. And I realized I just handed you a $200 check and we spent half of the time talking about your computer. And that was the second or third therapist I had tried at that point. It's this is useless. I'd literally rather just scream at my camera. So I started screaming at my camera. Like, people weren't supposed to watch this shit. My idea. What about a shout out to my mate? Incredibly expired lame NPC meme. You know how old I am? I'm old enough to remember when NPC, non-playable character, was a way that people on the right would insult people on the left. And then you all just kind of started to become little like robots just repeating the same thing over and over again and pretending that it was original or funny. That shit was hysterical on day one. The fact that there was a member of the media that had to go to that length to hide the fact that a crowd was yelling, "Fuck Joe Biden," was hysterical. It shows the very clear and obvious media bias, and it just shows what a joke it was that they were. I'm not even answering this stuff anymore. It just shows what a joke it is that, like, that they just can't be honest about anything. But the fact that that was months ago, and like I still see that as like a YouTube comment that people leave everywhere as if it just happened. It's like it's a played out meme. I don't know. It's like when someone says Trump is a Nazi in a comment, and it's like, yeah, and tell me something else with my morning tea. It's just, like, yeah, I'm sure you're the first person to say that. It's highly boring. I forget what I was talking about now. I was on something 2 points before that, and it disappeared. I'm not going to remember what it is. Damn it. I forget what it was. What are your thoughts on nuclear energy? I'm for it. Again, a lot of people are afraid. You don't want the world to get destroyed, do you? Yeah, if you're using 1940s technology and 1940s safety regulations and 1940s methods, then sure, you're going to have another Chernobyl. But we have new technology. We have new ways of doing things. We have better ways of doing things. The problem is, I think it's one of those, loving your old Intro to Electrical Guide. Oh, for the love of God. Please, I wish, if Dave Jones at EV Blog could just redo that, mine is shameful because I have so little understanding of engineering or electronics. It's pathetic. When it comes to theory, I have none. I would much more trust someone like Dave Jones to come up with some. The whole idea there was I wanted to come up with a way of explaining things where you could be an idiot just like me. You could have the teeny brain that myself or Oreo has and still understand it. I have not used 4chan since the mid-2000s. What was I saying? And the problem is that stuff did not really... what was I saying? Shit, I forgot. I forgot where I was.
Oh, sweet mercy.
Fun fact, your bank can block you from commenting. I don't know what that means. Getting IT questions is difficult when they find out you know how to use computers. In fact, it happens in industries, accountants, doctors, etc. Huh. Would you like an old Sun Spark system to play with? Oh, I don't need more junk, sir. It sounds like it could be fun. But from New Hampshire, are you planning on hiring more people for lobbying in New Hampshire or New York? I don't know if we have a right to repair bill up in New Hampshire right now.
Oh, sweet mercy.
Is YouTube success luck or skill? I think it's not. I don't even know if it's about either. There's skill in terms of I am going to actively try to make stuff that people are going to click and watch. And then there's luck, which is, I think a good amount of mine is, I wasn't planning to be successful here. The whole plan was to yell into my camera. And then once I go to upload it, I'd realize, wait a second, I have to share this with the world. What am I ashamed of sharing with the world? And if I'm ashamed of sharing it, why am I ashamed of sharing it? Let me journal about it. Let me talk about it. And that actually helped me get through a lot of, the things that were going on in my head. It wasn't supposed to be a successful channel. This was supposed to be like a shitpost that had nobody watching it. Maybe 2 or 3 other people. Will you come back to the Olathe area again? Probably never. I don't have any reason to go to the rural Kansas at this point. I haven't been to Olathe since 2014. I was very briefly dating a woman from Olathe, Kansas, but that did not last very long. New MacBooks use only 2 types of screw, and the long screws can't go into the short holes. Batteries have pull tabs for easy user servicing. Well, that is better. I don't know about the rest of it. I think that is a step in the right direction, but I don't know about the rest of it because I haven't worked on them yet. Thank you, Shamizzle. What site to use for memes or internet culture? YouTube comment section. I don't really care about most modern memes, and I don't watch memes for the sake of memes. Memes come up in the course of natural conversation. Thank you. The knowledge you impart is great. The best thing about your content is you do you and don't follow other trends. Thank you. Oh, nuclear power. Yeah, I'm for nuclear power. I just am not. I just do it right. I think it's gonna. If you want to move away from fossil fuels in a serious way, I think nuclear power is going to be very important. The best Linux is Windows 7. That's a troll. Lauren Schrader says, "How do you think the quickly rising inflation rate will affect the real estate market? Curious if the bubble will burst." Oh, I think it's an excellent question. Well, there's a number of things here. On one hand, typically having artificially low interest rates will cause more people to be able to bid more for a house, driving up prices. However, a lot of the people that are paying insane rates for houses are paying all cash. They're not even using a mortgage. So I really don't know. Will your videos lose the dislike button? Probably. Also, screw you for the last donation you left. The last comment. I used to watch your channel late night with you in the shop, always fixing boards and talking about the state of the world. I remember that. Thank you. Your reaction to my last question was priceless. P25 and Tetra are digital two-way radio standards. More crazy questions to come. I don't know much about digital two-way radios. I would be for again, I'm for green energy. I am like the idea of being able to create energy, charge electronics, drive without toxic smoke and garbage like that. It's really cool, and I'm all for nuclear. I'm all for nuclear. I don't have a problem with nuclear. Jessica whatever says 2 very reactive igniters of a reactor together, and if you do a wrong, blue flash happens and you die 2 days later. I don't want to be the person that's actually operating it. You need somebody who knows what they're doing operating it, and that ain't me. Find that person. I tried commenting regular non-super chats, but my bank interpreted $2 chat as fraud. They blocked my regular comment. Says Andy Bright. That sucks. What bank are you using? I'll give them a call. I have 370 subscribers and 160,000 views because YouTube likes cats and honeybees. They definitely like cats more than border pair. I did a border pair video yesterday, 10,000 views. Cat video, 42,000 views. Cat video. Cat. Thank you. I have no desire to learn how to repair things and support those who do. I listen to your channel while I write. Your voice is soothing. Thank you, Em. Yeah, this is common misconception with right to repair is that I demand everybody fix their own stuff. No, I don't. I simply advocate that you have the choice to if you wish to do so, and that you have the choice of choosing who does so, if not you. So if you want to buy a new one, or you always want to use the manufacturer for repair, go for it. You do you. If you want to fix it yourself, also you do you. If you want to have an independent repair shop fix it, also you do you. You know, a lot of people think that right to repair is I am forcing you to fix your own stuff. Hardly. You choose who you want to fix your own products. If you want to fix your own products, that is your choice, and I want you to have more choices. Was Tim Cook not available to co-host this AMA? I'd honestly be open to doing a video with him, man. Like, I know there's a lot of memeing, like F Apple and all that. I'd be happy to put all that shit aside and have an honest conversation with the guy. I think it will be interesting. We both may learn something. What are the most important qualities for beginner entrepreneurs in your opinion?
Oh, sweet mercy.
The ability to don't believe your own bullshit. Don't believe your own lies. Be honest with yourself about what you're doing, whether it's profitable, whether people need it. New MacBooks use only 2 types of screw, and the long screws can't go in the short holes. Batteries have pull tabs. I think I answered that exact question verbatim about 90 seconds ago, and it just showed up in the screen late. It's a step in the right direction. Good repair shops can fix Apple products for half of Apple's outrageous prices. Often they can. Wondering where you'd like to travel in the world. New Hampshire and Florida.
Oh, sweet mercy.
What site do you use for memes or internet culture? I don't use the internet just to figure out about internet culture. It's very self-referential. I read my YouTube comment section, and that's about it. And admittedly, I shouldn't be doing that because 95% of it is cancer. Will you drop Streamlabs now that everyone is aware of their scummy business practices? Probably not, because they don't make money off of me. So I have this set up via PayPal, which means that, unfortunately, PayPal makes money off of me, which makes me sick because I got rid of them for most of my business already. But Streamlabs does not take a percentage of the revenue, and I don't use them for anything. So they're not making money off of me through the system that I'm using. So I don't really have a problem with taking from them without giving them money. If there's a better way to get comments to show up on the screen like this, by all means email me, lewis@rossmanngroup.com. If there's a better way to make comments show up on the screen in OBS, I am more than happy to hear about it. But this particular method that I use right now, to my knowledge, does not actually profit Streamlabs any money. When you first started your channel, when you were in the midst of starting yourself on your own, did you ever have problems with depression? Yes, because I started this channel as my secondary business was failing. Do you use Streamlabs? If so, have you considered dropping them? I think I just answered that one. Yes, I did. My supply company was failing, and I personally felt like a giant failure. And I had put several years of my life into something that completely just blew up. And as much as I could blame the world and everybody else for the problems, it was really because I was an idiot who sucked at running a business and who made bad decisions. So I was horribly depressed. Like every day I thought, when you put 3 years of your life into something, and not only is that 3 years completely 100% worthless, but you're actually behind where you were if you just did nothing. Like realizing that that not only did I put 3 years of 12 or 13 hours a day into something and not get anywhere, but if I had literally done nothing from the very beginning, I would have actually been better off. If I had just sat in my chair and done jack shit and not made any money for a year or two, I would have been better off. That's very painful. And one of the things I learned about losing that business is that losing a business, when you put that much effort into it, when your identity is based in it, when it's not just, I'm just going to try this to make money. Oh, stop crying, man. Stop. Like, I can't accept the $2. I'm sorry. Complaining about moderation is such childish shit. Oh, what was I saying? There was this, what was I saying? Damn it. See, now you broke my fucking train of thought. What was I saying? I got to rewind and actually play back my own video. Damn it. Now you got me off the treadmill. I shouldn't even read those comments where people are bitching about moderation. There's always somebody who's going to bitch about moderation. And if I make them the mod, then they'll actually bitch about the moderation, and it just kind of... Here we go. If you had to choose which Power Ranger is your favorite, I never watched the Power Rangers because that Channel 5 never came in properly. I got Channel 11, but not Channel 5 as a kid. We had an antenna in Staten Island, and I did not have... And we had a lot of trees over the house, so I didn't get any reception. Oh, yeah, the business thing. It's one thing if you just have some business that you... Damn it. All right, since Olathe is out of the question, how about Missouri or so anywhere specific? I have no intentions of going to Missouri. I would want to go to the hills of Missouri, maybe on the way to somewhere else, just to check out somebody like the American Homestead, buy him dinner or something in person, because I've learned some interesting things from his channel, and he seems kind of like a cool guy, although I've literally just known him from 1 or 2 comments in the YouTube comment section. But other than just maybe saying hi to the American Homestead guy, I don't see myself doing anything in Missouri. What was I saying? The business thing. Wait, it's one thing if you just have a business. Fuck, it's impossible to answer a question on this platform. I'm waiting for lab-grown meat tech to improve so I don't have to feel bad about eating meat anymore. I'm excited about that too. I was vegan for 5 years, and then I quit, and I went back, and I would be open to lab-grown meat. Not that like Beyond Meat shit where it's just filled with garbage and is high in carbs and chemicals and all the other crap, but like actual lab-grown meat I'd be open to. I'm going to try. I'm afraid to try to answer that question because I know when I go to answer the question, something else is going to show up. When a business is an extension of your identity and your life and not just a simple way to make money and it fails, it really, really fucking hits you hard. Like that supply company I opened, I think I answered that one already a while ago, that New Hampshire and Florida. When a business is kind of an extension of your identity, and this is the way I want to do business because when I was a customer in this position, I got screwed. I'm going to change the world with it. And that just kind of dissolves. It really does kind of feel like you just lost a family member or something when it actually dies. Like I almost felt the same way I did when I lost a family member when I knew that business was dead and I put 3 years of my life into it and I got nowhere. How do you start with repair? You start by fixing something. But I know that's not the answer you want. You want an exact, like step 1, you buy an Acer 5517. Step 2, you try to replace the screen bezel. Step 3, you buy a screen bezel on this website. It's not over. You start by fixing something. I really don't, I know you go, well, duh. But yes, well, duh. That's what it is. You start by fixing something. How do you fix something? Find something that's broken and make it work. That's that. Get a broken system. Get a working system. Compare the broken system to the working system as much as you can.
Sweet mercy.
And then try to see what's different between the broken system and the working system. Have a separate one. Honestly, one of the biggest keys, I purchased the MacBooks thanks to you, Lewis. You rat bastard. One of the ways that you accelerate your process of learning when it comes to learning how to repair is
Oh, sweet mercy.
I don't invent it. I don't invent things, man. I fix stuff. I'm not an inventor. What was I saying? Shit. I forgot. One of the ways that you accelerate your ability to fix things is you have a working system by you at all times that you could take apart, that you could measure, that you could look at. If you're like, how does this go together? How do these clips go in without break? Oh, they fold and then the clip goes in. Like you need a working system with you right next to the broken system so that you could learn. It'll vastly accelerate your learning. But yeah, I mean, how do you get started in repair? Fix something. I mean, obviously. Thanks for your inspiration. I make 3 figures repairing Google Home devices and en route to 4 figures while studying. Here's some money for greenies. Thank you. You know, Eli the computer guy says that when he noticed I'm making $200 a month and then next month he made $400, that was the most exciting shit to him in the world. But it wasn't that he made $400 a month. That, you know, obviously that's not a lot if you have a family. But the fact that his income doubled in a month got him so excited that he immediately jumped in and dived in on what he was doing. That feeling is the great. So if you just went from making $800 to making $1,600, yeah, you know, okay, fine. You're probably not, you know, you're not buying a house in Los Angeles anytime soon, but you're on your way. Sent my friend in your store for a screen repair, was pointed to the Apple Store because they will fix it for free, Flexgate. That's actually a part of, if you go on archive.org and you look at my website even 10 years ago, it had an About Us and Our Ethics section, and one of the things listed in the Ethics section was we will not charge you for a repair that Apple will do for free. If Apple will do it for free, I will tell you to go there. And there are many times that Apple will do the repair for free, and somebody's like, listen, it's not your job to tell the customer that. It's not your job. They're not paying your bills. No, they are. They're paying my bills when they tell everybody else to come here because we won't fuck them. I think the key is to know your limits. I could if I wanted to put the time into building my own desktop, but I'd rather be writing. I prefer indies for repairs and building PCs. I'm buying a framework when I replace my Windows laptop. I agree. You don't have to fix everything. There's no point in fixing everything, but having the option to is what it's all about. And I think you'll like the framework. I really miss mine. I like mine until it got stolen. And also, thank you, Anne. Your videos on reading and how to speak to disciplined children are some of the most mindful, insightful things I've ever seen. This is my way to thank you. Thank you, Red. Yeah, I am very, very frustrated with the way that people treat children like they're second-class human beings. I think children are the last group of people in our society that you kind of get to treat like total shit. Who cares what they think? Who cares if they're satisfied with their education system? You know, you can hit them and it's okay. That's how you, quote, keep them in line. And it's horrible to see how people treat kids. They treat kids like they're, you know, second-class species, and it's just horrible. Or they're like they're idiots. And I would treat kids the same way that I treat adults for the most part in many aspects related to the video you're talking about. Showed up at the Apple Store, told her to F off because the back is slightly dented. They will not fix it unless she pays for a new display assembly. That's correct. That is 100% correct. You are not replacing that back cover without replacing the display assembly. The screen on almost virtually all modern machines for the last like 10 years that 10 or 12 years Apple's been making them, is glued and adhesed into that casing. You are not replacing the metal piece without destroying the screen. Like that's just, and anybody who can do that is going to charge you more in labor than the actual display assembly is worth. I'm saying that as somebody who does display assembly refurbishing on a regular basis. What countries would you like to visit? Again, Apple's not always wrong. I would like to visit the country of Florida. No, I don't know. I don't have much interest in like traveling the world. I know I'm not supposed to say that. You're supposed to want to be worldly and show how cultured you are by wanting to go everywhere. I've never really felt this need to, you know, like backpack through Europe or backpack through the Middle East or go to Australia.
Sweet mercy.
Yeah. Right to repair is not mandate to repair. Corporate scare tactics. I wouldn't say it's a corporate scare tactic. I would say it's a culture war. The way it goes something like this. Somebody likes Apple products. They see that I criticize Apple for a policy. They identify with their like of Apple products. Therefore, they believe I'm criticizing them. So what they do is they find a way to criticize me back. So they'll nitpick at something I say and make it out to be something it's not, so that they can discard me, so that then they can discard my criticism because my criticism of the company felt like criticism of them as a human being, and that is something that they don't that they find offensive.
Sweet mercy.
That's Thank you for everything you do for the LGBT community, says Sunny. I'm assuming that Sunny is trolling me. Could you accept crypto as payment? I don't accept crypto as payment because it's way too volatile. Also, it takes too long. The last time I sent Bitcoin somewhere, it took 25 minutes to show up on the other end. I'm not going to have a fucking customer sitting in my store for 25 minutes while a crypto, waiting for I'm not doing that. It's really interesting how a Visa card with a Pentium 2 and 56K would actually transmit faster than a quad-core Xeon and Fios with Bitcoin. I'm glad you were leading this right to repair fight. I just hope you were taking good care of yourself because I know stress must be insane. I had a lot of stress in the middle May. How about this? In May of this year, at the end of April of this year, end of April and beginning of May, there was one particular thing that I'll wind up talking about 5 or 10 years from now that definitely added a bunch of gray hairs and probably took a year off my life with stress. But I have figured that out, moved on past it, and it's going to make a great entry into my biography someday. It'll be a good mention of my biography. Too soon to mention it now, though.
Oh, sweet mercy.
Want to know how can we contact you outside of social media? The email of your shop. I have designed my life so that is impossible. I have Lewis@RossmannGroup.com, which is an email, but I read that email at my discretion at the speed that I want to read it, and I delete emails that I find to either be a book, or B, not interesting. Sometimes when I give that email out publicly, but the problem with it is that people will then email me books. I do not read books. Okay, let me check. I read books like Jim Camp Start With No, Stephen Kinsella's Against Intellectual Property. I do not read books that were written to me but in YouTube comments. I do use Lewis@RossmannGroup.com. You can email it, but again, I read that email on my schedule, on my own time, when I feel like it. What do you think of COVID boosters? If it makes you less likely to have a bad reaction from COVID, then I don't know. I'm not against it. I've debated getting one myself. I probably wouldn't get one if just for myself, but since I do public workshops with people and I do meetup groups, I may do it if it encourages more people to show up. Do you ever wish you just made shoes that did interior design instead of fixing laptops and fighting right to repair? Seems like an easier path. Making shoes doesn't sound, I don't know. Interior design, I could never do interior design because I'm horrible at designing stuff. I would be bad at that job. I don't think that would be a good job for me because I have no taste.
Oh, sweet mercy.
I'm a big fan of what you do with Right to Repair. I still bought a MacBook, and I think it's freaking awesome. Am I a bad person? You are not a bad person because your specific group of priorities that you chose when you wanted to buy a computer are different than mine. That does not make you a bad person. You are just someone who has different priorities than me when purchasing a computer, and I don't really care if you have different priorities than me when purchasing a computer. You are welcome to have different priorities than me when purchasing a computer that correspond to what it is you want your computer to do.
Sweet mercy.
Florida is the best state, says Max. I'm not sure about that. Have you found a way to not attach yourself to your business, or did it not matter once those started succeeding? I don't know. Training other people to do what I know how to do has helped a lot.
Oh, sweet mercy.
30% of carbon from heating, cooling, AC, passive solar costs very little to design well, but it makes no money flow post-build, no interest in houses that don't automatically consume process energy. I've looked into what it would cost for certain houses that I wanted to buy to get some sort of solar system set up with batteries that would run the whole thing. And again, when you're approaching like $25,000 to $45,000 for those types of systems, it really is easy to understand why people say, fuck it, I'll just pay my electric company $100 a month to keep the current system going. Again, like $100 a month, it's going to take you 20 to 40 years to pay back the cost of a lot of those systems that you see advertised so that you don't have to use the power grid anymore. Now, Grant, would you say repairing a chamfered edge iPhone, chamfered edge, is easier than a rounded edge design one, 678 screen-wise? I don't know what a chamfered edge is, and I feel really bad because you gave me $5 and I don't have an answer to your question because I have no idea what the hell chamfered is because I've literally never heard that word before until just now. I've never had anybody ever use the word chamfered on me before. What is chamfered? Past tense, chamfered, past participle. In carpentry, cutaway, or right-angled corner to make a symmetrical, I have no clue. I have no idea. Not even the slightest idea. I'm sorry. I feel bad. You donated money, but I have no idea. I don't know how to. I can't make up an answer. Rivlin funded $5 Canadian. Thank you. People who aren't doing veganism as a passing fad are literally falling apart. I don't know. I don't think I was falling apart in the 5 years I did it. I went from my max of, I think, like 6 reps of 225 to being able to do 8 reps of 225 on bench press. So I did make like a new PR as a vegan. But then again, I also made a new PR when I went back to being a meat eater. So if you want Lewis to read your 50-page book, you should probably super chat him a few $100s. Honestly, it's not even worth it. I intensely dislike getting emails that are 16 pages long from people that I've never met. Also, a lot of the times I get emails from people saying, I have a business idea with you. I want to collaborate on this, that, or the other. I'm not going to give you any details about my idea, but please call me so that I can tell you about it. I literally delete all of those. And, do you read manifestos? I do not read manifestos. I have a paper shredder for those. I have had people, people like, say, well, what if that person's the next Mark Zuckerberg? I will take the chance that they're not the next Mark Zuckerberg and just hit delete. How do you know if people are vegan? They tell you. I honestly have had more people tell me that they're a carnivore than meat eater. So there was this burrito place nearby, and I would get my burrito and say, no cheese or sour cream, please. And then the person behind me would go, ugh. They actually go, ugh. And then I turn around and go, what? It's like, and then they have a smirk on their face. And like, you know what it is, right? To repair about BMW and of course Microsoft, I suppose. And I would tell them, and like, I didn't say anything. I wasn't saying anything about what they were eating, but they needed to let me know with their passive-aggressive sigh that me not getting cheese or sour cream bothered them. So I honestly, again, differences for all different people. I never had a vegan come up to me and bother me about what I was eating, ever. But in the 5 years that I spent as a vegan, I've had numerous people express in a very passive-aggressive or aggravated way that I was a vegan when I was not even talking to them. I wasn't even talking to them. I had no business with them. And I can't tell you how many times something like that happened, and it was so fucking annoying. So I found that that's projection, in my opinion. The people that are, I've gotten way more shit from people who are omnivores or carnivores than actual vegans. And I'm not even a vegan anymore, so I don't really have some sort of incentive structure to defend them because it's part of my identity or something. And I just missed the last one, and now I have another one. Fuck me. Fuckity fuck, I'm falling off the treadmill. He meant non-rounded slides like iPhone 4 or 5. I got that by the time I got to the end of the definition, but I have no idea if that makes it easier or harder. I just unfortunately don't have an opinion on that. I don't know enough. I haven't done a comparison between them. I haven't done a screen repair on an iPhone 12 because I do board repair primarily, so I don't have an answer to that question. And I feel bad because now you've added on to a donation that's going to make me feel even more guilty for not having an answer to that question. What would you have to do in order to have your back rent paid off tomorrow? Sell my asshole for $60,000. I think I'd have to sell my asshole for $60,000 because I think that's the only way I'd immediately get $60,000 is through selling my asshole. But I don't know if I'm open. I don't know if I'm willing to do that just yet. I don't think I am, but I think that's what I'd have to do. Another Florida man here. Florida is the best. We love you. Don't stop being awesome. Thank you, Ethan. Where did I leave off at? I left off at a booster question. Yes. If it was for me personally, I probably wouldn't bother with it. Again, like I've looked at the chances of me dying from it. I'm excited for the launch of James Webb. I don't know what that is. Let's Google it. I don't know what that is. That's a space telescope. Woke leading the blind. Heated debate over NASA telescope name. NASA delays James Webb Space Telescope launch. Yeah, I don't follow space telescopes, to be honest with you. My dad is really, really into all different types of space stuff, and I am not, unfortunately. What was I saying? The booster thing. I never answered that question. And I don't think I'll ever get to either. I've traveled a lot internationally. I like it, though. In many ways, it was similar than distinct, like how I thought it would be. However, a lot of travelers get a superiority complex from doing so. I've gotten that vibe from some of the people that I've met that have bragged about traveling. I've gotten that vibe. The booster question. See, again, I've looked at the stats. I've looked at the people who are likely to die. I looked at the people who are likely to have long-term effects. Again, if it was just for me, I wouldn't. But if I do workshops and I want people to fuck me, it's impossible to answer. It's mostly nice story about BMW, how they just throw out part worth 8,000 instead of just welding a part. Throw out part worth 8,000 instead of welding. It's interesting to know that it's not just companies based in the United States that are anti-right to repair. It makes me feel like it's not just my culture, but also Germany's that's kind of fucked in a way. It's not even just an American, because people will say this is just a byproduct of American capitalism. But when it happens in Germany, then how can you say it's purely America? Can you name an NBA player? Scottie Pippen.
Sweet mercy.
$49 to my G Sonny for Lewis's phone number. I know where you live, Sonny. I'm going to leave it at that. I know where you live. I know where you park. Okay, what was it? Since I do workshops where anybody can just show up, and I also do these meetup groups for lobbying, I feel like it would make sense for me to get the booster, not for me, but because it may make other people more likely to show up to those events. And if I'm going to be the, quote, ambassador for a cause, Mr. Clinton never got his greenie sponsorship. They sent him free greenies, and they sent him free toys, but that was it. It was a one-time thing. But Mars Pet Products actually sent Mr. Clinton he actually got toys. I shit you not. He got free shit before I did on this channel, that little fuck. I feel like if I'm going to be doing public events, I'm going to be doing and inviting people, that it's my responsibility to do crap that's going to make them feel safer while doing it. And, a booster if that makes people feel better and more likely to show up to those type of events, then I would probably go ahead and do it. But if I wasn't doing public stuff, I probably wouldn't bother at all. Passive solar is not electrical. You need triple glazing and 200 millimeters of insulation. Look up passive house. Norway use it and they are cold. I don't know what that is. What? Triple glazing. Look up passive house. Also, Linux is broken right now, so I actually, check this out. I don't know if you'll be able to see this. Do you see how there's this imprint of OBS over here? So this is my OBS window. This is my browser window over here, right? What is this? What is this? Who the fuck knows what this is? This is actual OBS right here. See, this is OBS? This is taking up my screen right now, so I actually lost half my screen real estate because of... That's the second Linux glitch in this screen. This is adorable. It is so funny just being able to watch Linux fuck up in real time. High school kids should take auto shop, electronics repair, and cooking. People don't have enough practical skills. Yeah, I didn't have access to any of that when I went to high school, and it's kind of sad. One sec, I really do want to be able to get my window back, because my YouTube chat window is actually gone. It's buried here somewhere in Linux's broken shit.
Sweet mercy.
But I can't, because something keeps showing up over here. Is it possible to recover data from a dead NVMe SD with a dead controller? Assuming you know the problem is the dead controller. That is a question for Steve and Chris. So Steve and Chris would know the answer to that. I don't have the answer to that. Steve and Chris do all the SSD data recovery. And I feel bad because you paid me, but I don't have the answer. I don't want to bullshit you. I can't answer a question like that I don't know the answer to. I would ask Steve or Chris. They're the ones that know the answer to that. But I don't have the answer to that.
Sweet mercy.
Based on their success rate, I would say no. Yeah, like if we're just basing it on their success rate, I would say no. But I don't want to say for sure. They're also probably not going to be happy with me giving that answer. Darren for $2. Thank you. You could probably recover NVMe if you could replace the controller, but oof. You can't spell my name, you're out of here. Let's see. Could never use KD for more than a day, there's always a problem. Yeah, it's a clusterfuck. The most New York thing you've seen this week. On my birthday, I spent $40 on food, gave a $10 tip for 2 wraps, and was told I couldn't go to the bathroom in the restaurant that I used to be able to go to the bathroom at. How many do you typically bench by yourself when no spotters around? I will lower it to 205 pounds and try for sets of 9 or 10. I don't go over 205 pounds if there's no spotters. If there's a spotter around, I'll try to do maybe on occasion a max of 285, or I'll do 225 for a set of 8 or 10. But with no spotter around, I don't go above 205.
Sweet mercy.
I'll ask an easier question. With the Apple Parts program in effect, do you think it'll be easier to locate OEM parts for older last-gen MacBooks? No, because I think they're going to start with newer devices first. Like they're starting with newer iPhones, not older ones. So I think they're going to start with newer devices first. KDE equals clusterfuck desktop environment. Yep. Yeah, this is a joke. Look at this shit. This is hysterical. Like this is just like this is a totally Linux thing here. Like what is this? What is this shadow over here? What the fuck is that? And why? So what I did to get around it is I'm right clicking and going keep above others so that I see this over that shadow window. Here's support from Montreal. The right to repair cause will change the whole world from hardware, but it's opening the door to software. Thank you, Rivlin. Thank you very much. It's more than I deserve. When I retire, I am going to start the repair business. Go for it. Yeah.
Oh, sweet mercy.
I worked for Apple for 13 years, then went to an Apple authorized service provider for over a year and just left due to how poorly I was treated, feeling blackpilled. Email me. I'd like to hear more. Lewis@rossmanngroup.com. If you can tell me in a TLDR fashion what it was like, I'd love to hear. It really has to suck not being able to solve people's problems day in and day out. And you know what the solutions are, but your hands are tied and you can't do it. That has to hurt.
Oh, sweet mercy.
Most New York thing you've seen this week, a restaurant where it was $40 for 2 wraps and a small drink. I gave a $10 tip. I asked if I could use the bathroom. They redid the construction of it so that the bathroom was behind their section now, not available to the public, and they said, we don't have a restroom. Honestly, like, New York City deserves to smell like piss. It really does. One thing, you always let people use the bathroom when they walk in the store, as long as they don't look like they're going to fall asleep in it or they don't look like a crackhead. And I want to make it a policy at my store that we let people use the bathroom if they don't look like a crackhead after that experience. Because I'm never fucking going to that restaurant again. Like, I'm remembering them. I'm telling everybody I know to never use them. Because that's just a schmuck-ass thing to do. You got a $10 tip after $40 for 2 wraps? How long to switch back to Windows from Linux? Not long, probably. Honestly, again, I've had 2 issues in this stream already. A, I can't use the slider. So A, I cannot use the slider in OBS. This slider does not work. Look at this. Watch this. See where the mouse is? Follow the mouse. See where it is? Right by where it says Jack Desktop Audio. Do you see this fader? Watch what happens when I go to move the fader. I'm going to move the fader. So over here, I can take the Jack mic fader and move it, right?
Sweet mercy.
Watch this. I'm going to move the fader. Where's my mouse? It's up here. What the fuck? Like, Linux is hysterical. How do you say GIF? GIF. You say it like GIF. Don't say GIF. GIF is weird. Don't do GIF. It's a GIF. It's like a giraffe. Denial of use of bathrooms also contributes to the people are shitting on the streets thing. Yeah, because that's what I did. I was on my way home and I took a piss under the bridge. Like, it was dark. There was a dumpster. I went behind the dumpster and I'm not going to fucking piss myself because a restaurant is not going to let me use the bathroom. But that's the thing. It's like, I don't want to contribute to why this city smells like piss, so I let people use my bathroom. But unfortunately, sometimes nobody will let me use theirs, even if I spent money at your establishment. So I wind up, making the city smell more like piss. BMW has always been this way. The 05, 2010 M5, M6 SMG pump failure, $2,400 replace, requires hydraulic unit replacement, $8,000 to $11,000 plus labor at dealership. That's interesting. It's very interesting that it's like that was not something that was American grown. So you can't necessarily blame the anti-right to repair practices on American capitalism. In a few words, what's the best way for an average Joe to get involved in the right to repair movement? The best way for an average person to get involved is to help other people experience the fun of actually being able to fix things. Like, don't just tell people you should care about right to repair.
Oh, sweet
Help
mercy.
them make money or save their own stuff or experience the fun of making something work again. Because once they do that, they'll be more likely to support it on their own organically rather than just it being something somebody told them about. Tiny store just to accept estimate initial diagnostics. Horrible idea. Horrible idea. Horrible idea. Absolutely garbage idea. So our entire... Sorry, I feel bad because you gave $5. I'm very passionate about this, as you could probably tell. Our entire business is based on the idea that if you need a question answered by the person who's actually fixing your stuff, that person's right there, like within sight, and you can call them. and you can ask them to come
Oh,
by,
sweet
and you can have them
mercy.
answer every question that you have, and that all the work can be done with everything you see in front of you. That's the exact opposite. Come on, Louis, not fair to say Linux blame the window manager. Oh, come on, you fucking simp. You're okay, in order to say this, in order to believe this, you need to believe that this is only something that happens with the window manager. That you've never had a problem with something but the window manager in Linux. That it's only the window manager in the NVIDIA driver, and if that didn't exist, there would never be trouble with this fucking operating system. Come on. Oh, I can't. I can't take this. No.
Oh, sweet mercy.
It's your fault for the window manager. You need to use the window manager that has no scaling, that actually is functional in 2021. Thank you for the laughs. Curious what your Windows 10 on ThinkPad issue was. Was it a clean install? I don't know because it's also using Linux now. I forget where I was before that happened.
Oh, sweet mercy.
Just joined the stream. Any updates about your stolen bag? Yes, the restaurant wouldn't give me the footage. They gave it to the police. The police have it, but I can't get it, and the police are probably never going to assign a detective to it because it was a theft. Therefore, it will never be solved, and I will never have the footage. God bless America, or at least New York City. I fucking hate Linux elitists like that knob. Me too, honestly, me too. Just joined the stream. Any updates in your stolen bag? Let's see. I forget what I was talking about before that. It was a right to repair thing. Oh, the idea. The right to, the oh sweet mercy is too loud.
Mercy.
No shit! And I can't fucking change the volume because the slider doesn't work. Thanks for schooling a new fellow tech. I totally dig your board repair videos. Pure artwork. Thank you, Christopher. Jessica, whatever, what is your occupation? You seem to have a lot of health knowledge. Please turn down the second voice. I would love to.
Oh, sweet mercy.
Why'd you give your fight against vax mandate? I don't recall giving up a fight against I don't have one in my store. Choosing to get a vaccine is different than a mandate. I do not have to be anti-vaccine because I am anti-mandate. That is a confusion there. So I do not require that you have a vaccine or a mask to enter my business. I used to require masks until June of this year because, again, at some point, like once enough people have been vaccinated and once enough time has passed and enough people has got it, I started to go back to my normal life. I can't tell you exactly why I chose June of this year. Maybe I chose June of this year because that was around the time that our own health establishment said that if you are vaccinated, you can take off your mask in these settings, and I have not gone back to it since just because they changed things changed again. YouTube can suck at Lewis. You are a gentleman. Thank you, Smoking. I don't think I'm a gentleman, but I appreciate the sentiment. But yeah, I don't have to be. You think that because I said I was okay getting a booster, that means I'm giving up a quote fight against the mandate. I'm not fighting it because I shouldn't say I'm not fighting it. I haven't changed anything because I don't require a vaccine to enter my business. And I have no intentions of ever requiring one to enter my business. I want to hack the planet. Any advice? 1337. Interesting number. I don't know how you hack the planet. The planet is not a computer. I'm sure if some code enforcement found out about the burrito restaurant, they would find them. I think they're required to have a bathroom. Not really in New York City because there's no space for anything. And even if they did, they'd probably spend more time finding me for selling computers I have complete records for. My tutor's rebuff versus right to repair is anti-repair deter thief. It doesn't. No. People still steal shit. No. We have an anti-right to repair world right now. People still steal shit. People still steal shit left and right. That is a bad rebuff.
Oh, sweet mercy.
Linux is not great. That's why you should take time to look for the environment with less bugs. Try bspawn whenever you have time. When I actually have time, the last thing I want to do is fuck around with window managers on my computer. I like XFCE. I just really hate the way it scales on a 4K monitor. It is horrible. The scaling is so behind. They're like Linux. Like most window managers in Linux are 10 years behind Windows and OS 10. Even Windows, like way behind OS 10. OS 10 is so much better when it comes to scaling. Don't blame Linux. You're using it wrong. Only a small percentage experience issues. Take your computer with a certified Linux mastermind for repair. Thank you, JP. I appreciate it. I'm going to take this computer right down to Paul Daniels in Australia and make him fix it for me on stream. I think that would be a good stream. I'm a professional know-it-all, says Jessica, whatever. Also, it's a pleasure meeting you in New Hampshire. Thank you for coming by. No, I'm very interested in health and technology and have many different weird jobs and have accrued lots of oddball knowledge from them. Interesting.
Oh, sweet mercy.
Troubleshooting software is more than demoing the bug. This is repair. Only with Linux you get the schematic. It's elitist. I don't understand what you mean by elitist. Oh no, that's not. Oh no, now I get it. You're talking about the comment. No, a Linux elitist is when somebody's like, it's not fair that you blame something for not working when you're using it wrong, kind of shit. Or like the expectation that something work out of the box 20 or 30 years in is incorrect. When somebody looks at you and like with a straight face is like, no, you don't understand, Lewis. You don't understand. You don't understand. Why are you blaming the window manager that comes by default with this operating system that's had over 20 years in the spotlight? You're in it. I think that's what he's talking about. Opinions of scalping GPUs and consoles. Scalpers say they're not essential items and people are paying what they're willing to. Others say scalpers are taking these items away from legitimate buyers. I think scalp, again, if you can make, I don't know if scalping should be illegal. I haven't really thought about it that much. I do think it's a degenerate profession, in my opinion. If you're solely buying shit to resell it at a higher price and you're not adding any value, that just is kind of a degenerate thing to do. Middlemen should add value, and if they don't add value, I am not saying that it should be illegal. I'm just saying that I have little to no respect for them as human beings. If you want Linux to be easy, use Linux Mint with Mate. Simple, it even looks like Windows. Is Mate the one that's based on GNOME 2? Because I really used to like GNOME 2. GNOME 2 was the shit back in the day. And then GNOME 3 came out, and I don't know what the fuck GNOME 3, what they were thinking with GNOME 3. But GNOME 3 is an absolute cancer.
Don't forget to drink some.
Thank you. I'm using Plasma because I used to use KDE from time to time back in the day, and I wasn't aware that it was a buggy pile of shit now. Also, admittedly, it's the default, and I just installed this about 2 days ago. I installed this about 2 or 3 days ago, so I haven't really had time to fuck around with a bunch of other desktop managers yet. I was busy getting all the other stuff that I wanted to work, and the last thing left is this. I also didn't know this was a problem because this wasn't a problem until I started the stream. So KDE was actually doing everything it was supposed to, or Plasma, I guess you call it Plasma now. It was doing everything I needed it to right up until this. Apple IRP program isn't as bad as you make it sound, Lewis, says Ali Khan, without telling me a single reason as to why I'm wrong. I mean, you're welcome to have your own opinion. I have not used the IRP program. I get my information from people who broke their NDA to tell me about it, and the way they have explained it to me, at least back in 2019 and early 2020, it was a giant waste. But tell me more. Do you get access to ISO 9240s? Do you get access to CD3217s? Do you get access to LCD cells by themselves so that you can perform economically viable screen repairs for your customers where they're not paying $500 to $1,000? Probably not. Free publicity for Odyssey. I like Odyssey, and I like Library. I hope Jeremy Kaufman doesn't get himself in so much shit on Twitter that he winds up not being able to have time to develop and continue making Library and Odyssey better. Jeremy Kaufman likes to get into it on Twitter. Sometimes I read his Twitter and I just go like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, sometimes I disagree. Sometimes I agree. Sometimes I agree and I go, okay, I agree, but was there any reason that you had to phrase that in the most provocative way possible that you know that nobody is actually going to take what you say at face value and specifically twist it to make you sound like a worse person than you are and miss your point? I think he does it for fun. And part of it kind of gives me kicks when I know he's doing something for that. But yeah, I hope Library and Odyssey are very, very successful. I wish Jeremy the most of luck with Odyssey and Library. I hope these platforms kick ass, and I hope 5 or 10 years from now that they destroy YouTube. That's not coffee that I'm drinking. This is not coffee. I don't drink coffee. I don't like caffeine. Caffeine gives me anxiety. Caffeine gives me a lot of anxiety, so I avoid it altogether.
Oh, sweet mercy.
Thank you for everything that you do. Thank you, Andrew Lincoln. You're right, I can change the desktop volume by clicking advanced audio. I just couldn't troubleshoot because something shows up on the screen every time I go to troubleshoot. Now you'll be able to hear Oh Sweet Mercy. Sweet mercy. There we go. I don't need no damn slider now.
Oh, sweet mercy.
Would like to present IEE members, practicing engineers, and students regarding how they can assist the right to repair. I don't have a sales pitch for how IEE can assist with right to repair because I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how they can assist. So in order to present, I would need to have a sales pitch, and I don't have a sales pitch. I don't know how they can help. I appreciate it. Email me, lewis@fighttorepair.org. But just to be clear, I don't have a sales pitch for them. I don't know what they can do. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't have an ask.
Oh, sweet mercy.
Vax mandates people with more than 100 employees, right? People with fewer can coast. Yes, but there was still a talk of requiring people to walk in to get it. Holy crap, that's 4 lines of tiny text. What does it take for a good, smart person to be a leader, and does it always take great sacrifice? It seems like most of the time bad or stupid people get into power. I think being a good leader is thinking to yourself, what would it take for me to respect somebody asking me to do something and then doing that thing? Are solder components really more efficient than socketed? I am on chip with unified RAM. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know. I think that being a good leader means thinking to yourself, what would it require for me to be insanely motivated for me to do this task versus just I'm just going to do it because I have to. And then figuring that out, reverse engineering it, and then acting in that way towards people that you want to lead. What is your perfect date? Keep the faith, bro. My perfect date. Perfect date. Perfect date. My most fun dates have been the ones where I didn't really realize it was a date until halfway through, because I don't think either of us were really into each other until halfway through whatever time we were spending together, and then we realized it's a date by the end of it. Because it's a surprise. That actually makes it fun. Linux, with its small hardware requirements, low cost, and open nature, has the potential to be the world's greatest economic equalizer. You have a big platform. Okay, you're scaring me, because when you say you have a big platform, it doesn't sound like a compliment. It sounds like you have a big platform. Don't you know that you can't say what you actually think about something? Don't you know that you can't complain about the slider not working and you need to come up with a more responsible way to say it's not working? I'm very afraid when people say you have a big platform, because it's kind of like when people use the word but. It's like when they say, listen, I'm sorry, but. It's like, no, you're not sorry. You're not sorry. You say everything you say before but doesn't exist. And my antennae go up when somebody says you have a big platform. It has the potential. It does. It really does. It's been 19 years since I first used it. And there's so much shit that just doesn't work out of the box. I'm not installing my own desktop manager. I'm not compiling Gentoo from a stage 1 tarball like I did in 2004. There's just so much shit that just is funky out of the box. And one second. It's cool, but I still get a kick out of how much just still doesn't work 20 years in.
Oh, sweet mercy.
Does YouTube take a cut from donations? I believe Susan W. takes 30%. 70% for me, 30% for Susan W. Only reason there are mandates to begin with is because of a few idiots who don't get vaccinated. Incorrect. The reason that there are mandates to begin with is because of poor leadership that doesn't understand how to inspire people to do something of their own free will, because they've never had to do that in the course of their natural fucking lives. That's what pisses me off about it. Like, when you look at the last 2 years, there have been so many failures of basic leadership.
Oh, sweet mercy.
Does Clinton have a last name? That's his last name. His first name is Mr. Like, there are ways to inspire people to want to do things. There are ways to inspire people to do the exact opposite because they hate you. I'm a bad business person. I'll be honest with you. I'm a bad business person. I'm not that great a technician. I'm not that great a customer service person. I think I'm decent as a leader. I think I'm decent at, like, kind of, here's the light. Here's where I want you guys to be. Here's where I want everybody to be. I'm not going to force you into this little hole. But here's where I want everybody to be. I'm not going to take you and smash you into there, but I think I'm good at kind of leading people to where I want them to go. And the way that I've watched politicians and public health officials over the past 18 months deal with people, I'm not surprised at all at what happens. Honestly, it just pisses me off from a leadership perspective. It really does piss me off from a leadership perspective. You wouldn't need all of this stuff if people had more trust and faith in the systems in general. And they don't, because, in my opinion, because of shitty leadership. Shitty leadership in the beginning, shitty leadership in the middle, shitty leadership in the end. Because I don't ask myself, like, why are people, like, I don't say, okay, how do I respond to your argument? What I think to myself is, what is inspiring you to have this argument to begin with? What is the base feeling that is causing you to seek out this argument or seek out this position? And how do we work from there? How do we work backwards from that? There's so much shit that could have been said earlier on so that where people would have been working together and actually working towards a common goal, even if they fucking hated each other. Because again, in America, 50% of America appear, at least on social media, appears to hate the other 50% of America. There's so many things that could have been said differently. Thanks for everything you've done. Sorry about Linux Elites. Either Mint, XFCE, Cinnamon, or Manjaro KDE XFCE has worked for me on AMD GPU. I like XFCE. I really do. I just like it when I have a 1080p screen. When I have a 4K screen, it kind of is hell. But I like XFCE. I really do. And honestly, KDE has always worked for me. It's literally just now that it stopped. I just installed Linux 2 days ago, and KDE has been working fine. It was only when I started to try to adjust volume on the stream that didn't work. But now I know. So now I know I got to figure out what the fuck that is and fix it. Climate change is a hoax, says EM. EM is, you often, I don't know if you do that. I don't know if you mean half the shit you say or if it's just a giant troll. I don't think climate change is a hoax. I think people dislike politicians that talk about it. So in order to validate their dislike of those politicians, they look for stances that validate them. But you can think one thing and, you can dislike a politician that pushes something like the Green New Deal for many different reasons because you dislike them on a temperamental level or you disagree with their policies without just having to throw out the baby with the bathwater. But one of the most 2021 things to do is throw out the baby with the bathwater. Thank you for everything you've done for Right to Repair. A lot of us talk, you take action, we all benefit from it. I don't know if you benefit from it much yet, but hopefully in the future. What's worse, child slavery for cobalt or burning oil? Well,
Oh, sweet mercy.
there's no reason you can't fix two things at the same time. I am Jewish. Could you please donate money to plant trees in Jerusalem? We need your help now. Usually when people demand I donate to a particular thing and say it must be done immediately, when something like that happens, it tends to be a scam.
Oh, sweet mercy.
Is suicide selfish? That's something that I probably shouldn't answer publicly, because my answer is going to be one that is... There's a reason that I want to give the socially accepted answer there, and there's a reason that I want to give the honest answer there. But I know it's not responsible to give the honest answer there. I'm being irresponsible in giving the honest answer there. I'm going to give the societally accepted copy-paste answer to that, which is that suicide is selfish. The thing is that people who are asking that question are considering it. And I don't want people who are considering it to think that they should do it because of something I say. I have known people over the course of my life who dedicated their lives to making other people's lives miserable, said out loud that they enjoyed making other people's lives miserable, smiled while making other people's lives miserable, that then ended their own lives. And it's really difficult for me to look at that and think that that was a selfish choice that they made, because when their life was over, they were not able to look me in the eye and laugh about how they made other people miserable. But 99% of the time, I think that suicide is a selfish choice, because there are actual people that care about you And most of the people that I hear about that commit suicide were not people that would just look you in the eye and laugh at how much fun they had in making other human beings miserable. So I would say in 99% of the cases, suicide is selfish because there are people that actually care about you that will be hurt by your passing. And I think 1% of the time, you may just have people that are absolute and utter sociopaths that actually enjoy making other people's lives hell. Like they just get a kick out of it. And I can't say the socially acceptable thing. There are some people that the world would be better without. Also, Sonia posted a number in chat. Call and speak with those people.
Oh, sweet mercy.
Would you come to church with me, says Jacob M. I probably wouldn't because I don't know who you are. I don't go to church, but I'm not religious, and I also don't know who you are. I appreciate the $2. I don't know who you are. Thank you, Lewis. You inspired me to quit my job at a shitty rip-off retail store. Well, I hope you replace that with a job that actually pays you well. What are your thoughts on Super Rich buying up underground water tables? I don't know anything about that at all. What are you drinking? I'm drinking homemade tea from Erica. Not complaining on the late night live stream from one of my favorite YouTubers, but I'm noticing a trend of every YouTuber I'm sub to doing it. It probably means we all got insomnia at the same time. If I could sleep, I wouldn't be doing this. I skip around distributions until I find one comfy with my hardware at the time, and I stick with it till the hardware breaks or I quit supporting security patches. That's what I used to do.
Oh, sweet mercy.
You look like you ponder philosophy during sex. I'm actually thinking about... I'm not... there are times where I've actually thought about board repair during sex, and I finished having sex, and then I immediately went to the store and figured out a board that I was stuck on. Where I was thinking about the board repair and not the sex. I'm a bad fucking boyfriend. Luckily, that wasn't with Erica. The one before Erica. Oh, God, I'm a bad boyfriend. I'm a bad boyfriend. I don't know why anybody dates me, to be honest.
Sweet mercy.
Like your content, found some interesting stuff. Is it bad that I like your cat more than you? You should like the cat more than me. Cats are better than humans. Honestly, it'd be better staying away from such discussions in these forums. If terms of service was invented for anything, it's to stay away from stuff like that. I don't care what Twitch does to me, honestly.
Oh, sweet
Where's
mercy.
Oreo? Not sure. A few weeks ago, I started trying to negotiate with myself and doing even a simple thing a day so tomorrow will be a better day. This really helps in terms of getting out of this cycle of boring, unproductive days. Thanks. I'm glad that video helped you. That video is one of the things that concept has helped me a lot. And I know that if I was able to do more in a day, that I would be way further now than I am. But like the only reason I've honestly accomplished anything at all, if I can even call anything in my life an accomplishment, is because I was willing to break things down into smaller and smaller groups. So I'm glad that helped you the same way that it helped me. So thanks in the myocarditis. It's not the vaccine so much causing myocarditis as it is nurses that don't know how to put a needle in.
Oh,
There was one
sweet
study,
mercy.
and I got to find it. Are you, I don't know what that word is, and I don't know what that means, but it doesn't sound like anything good, so I'll take your $1, but I don't know what that means. What was I saying? The myocarditis thing is... It was one study I read where I think it was when they aspirate the needle, it's less likely to give you
Oh,
myocarditis.
sweet mercy.
So I kind of wonder, is that, thank you, Sonia, that is a good line that people should call. I think that, when you have a vaccine being given out to so many people and you have it being given out in fucking trucks in the street and all that shit that looks like the halal food cart, is it the vaccine that's giving people this, or is it people that are like, putting in hundreds of thousands of needles a day that just don't, that probably were not trained in how to do that properly? Like, the most simple explanation is the one that makes sense to me.
Oh, sweet mercy.
Don't listen to the loud minority telling you to not acknowledge reality. Being honest about real issues is one of the biggest things Linux needs if it's to become mainstream. Also, screw KDE. Yes, screw KDE. I was very skeptical when I saw that Ubuntu chose in its studio distribution to make KDE the default desktop environment rather than
Oh, sweet
XFCE as
mercy.
it had used before. But I thought, you know what, listen, I'll trust the developers of Ubuntu who made that choice and let's give it a shot. I'm only 2 days in and no, fuck that. I'm removing KDE and going XFC. I don't give a fuck how much I hate the scaling. It's better than this bullshit. Hi from Toronto. Thanks for pressing right to repair. Have you been recently impressed by any piece of consumer technology outside of repairability? Image stabilization in smartphone cameras. The difference between the Samsung S7 and
sweet
S10 is
mercy.
amazing for such a tiny camera. Fiance and I are getting married soon. Going to live stream it as well. Getting a photographer. Any good wireless mics and mixer ideas? If you want a wireless mic for you, I love the DPA. Obviously, if you're into video, you don't want to have that. I'll probably have that on my wedding day. If on my wedding day, I'm going to have a nice, good old DPA 4065, nice looking pink coat hanger going down the side of my head with the Sennheiser wireless mic setup. For mixer, I have no idea.
Oh, sweet mercy.
How do you feel about Florida and its people? One of the most fun meetup groups that I had was the meetup group in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The people that came by from the area were incredibly, incredibly interesting people. Orlando seemed a little boring. Tampa seemed a little boring. Jacksonville seemed very boring. The Fort Lauderdale meetup was very interesting. The problem is that you're getting very close to Debbie Wasserman Schwartz being my representative. Lewis, the Groiper comment is related to far-right activism. Also, is the myocarditis also related to COVID itself, so it's a possible side effect. The second thing is I would ask a doctor. I just looked at one study on that because I was curious because somebody I know got myocarditis from it and then a heart attack. You know, the sad thing is that the dude that I know that had that, he was so paranoid. He's like, I'm going to go to the doctor and get a full checkup before I get this vaccine. And he did. And then he wound up getting a heart attack anyway. That was sad. One of the most healthy people I know. He outran me in a race. I could still bench more than him. But that was crazy. What about the spike protein entering the nucleus and impairing DNA repair? I don't know anything about that, man. Ask your doctor. I don't know, man. I fix MacBooks. Ask your doctor. Ask a doctor. Ask your doctor. Ask the person that you would trust with your life. If you have a doctor that you go to when you get sick, that you would trust with a referral to a surgeon or anybody else, go to that doctor and ask them. I don't fucking know. Did you find out if unvaccinated are the cause of new variants? I've read into that, and the bare minimum that I've read into it is that that's made up shit. Lewis, we've been trying to reach you about your warranties extended car. No, that's like they've been talking about the Delta variant before people even started getting vaccinated here. People in India were getting new variants. A lot of these new variants are coming from areas where they don't have like a lot of people getting vaccines before vaccines were being distributed or even available. That sounds like BS to me. My BS detector goes off. The idea that vaccines are what's causing new variants just sounds like BS to me. Corvus just hit me with the Obama come on, man. I just got hit with the come on, man. Come on, man. You just hit me with the Obama meme right there.
Oh, sweet mercy.
Are you still decided against getting a booster shot? I probably will wind up getting it because I travel and deal with other people on a regular basis, and I want them to feel comfortable being around me, and I don't want that to be the reason that right to repair does not get pushed forward as much as I want it to be. There's only 369 standing between you and a working PP342_G3 hot. Buy yourself a U7090 today, you know where. Actually, most of the time that you're missing PP342 underscore G3 hot, it may be because of an inrush limiter resistor that's dead, or it could be because of a short to ground. Something to think about. Something to think about. But indeed, can't hurt to have an LT. Wow, I actually forgot the chip name. Oh my God. PM6640, LT3470. For a moment, I actually forgot the PP342 underscore G3 hot chip. Damn, that's bullshit. LT3470 for newer, PM6640 for older. Damn. Michael funded $2. Thank you. Rossmann confirmed for MPC, said by person who doesn't have his own opinions and only believes what he reads on the internet. Bye-bye. Next. Do people still ask if you're vaccinated when you travel? Sometimes. It's not even about that. It's people like, they watch my channel, they get an idea, they hear the shit that I say. So if I do a workshop that's open to the public, am I likely to have more people show up to that workshop that's open to the public where anybody can come by and have me tutor them in, in close proximity if I say that I'm fully vaccinated? Maybe. And if that's the case, does that help push right to repair forward just a little tiny bit more? That sweet mercy is sweet mercy coming from beautiful Queensland, Australia. Coming from Charters Towers, Queensland, Australia. From Mr. Paul Daniels, the developer of Flex Boardview. If I was just staying in my house or just keeping to myself, and the people that I know would probably be different. Like when I went to Boston, I was in very, very close proximity with about 60 or 70 people that showed up to some meetup group. I mean, if more people show up, I can get more people to lobby. I can get more people to go to these right to repair events. I can get, things pushed forward a little bit more. Then, yeah, I mean, it is, then fine, I'll go for it.
Oh, sweet mercy.
Will you consider making a video about nuts? No. Yeah, I'm going to stick to a no on that one. Don't you have to be vaccinated to visit America as a non-citizen? No idea. Leaky vaccines that allow you to still get infected do cause variants that avoid the vaccine. That sounds like bro science there. Delta in India was showing up way, like a lot of these variants were popping up way before even the United States was really vaccinated very well, much less other countries. Do they ask if you've gotten your smallpox vax as well? No, but I imagine that we're so close to, if not past eradicating smallpox, that it's less of an issue than something that is, at this point in time, sending thousands of people to the hospital. Do you play an instrument? You look a lot like a guitar professor. I do not. I don't. Today, the White House and CDC announced details of the new vaccination policy that will go into effect for international travelers on November 8th. My parents canceled Thanksgiving festivities because my sister and I are not vaccinated. She is anti-vax, but my doctor told me not to get the shot because I had a stroke this year. You probably avoided a miserable Thanksgiving dinner conversation anyway.
Oh, sweet mercy.
If the water on Earth isn't carbonated, does that mean the Earth is flat? It does, doesn't it? I never thought of it that way. Fuck. Shh. You just blew my mind right there. This whole time I thought the Earth was... Wow. That's actually the look somebody has on their face when they realize that the Earth is flat. My God. Okay, I just learned something from this stream. How hard is it to replace the battery in iPhone 6? Very simple.
Mercy.
How do I know my repair skills are worth selling? They are worth selling when you can do the job and you're not nervous about whether you're going to fuck it up on a device that does not belong to you. So if it doesn't belong to you and you just feel like you can do this repair while you're talking, if you can argue politics with somebody while fixing the device and then not have it be broken in the end, I think that's a good benchmark. You can argue politics while doing the repair and have your blood pressure get elevated, and the repair still comes out just fine.
Oh, sweet mercy.
Please tell me that you're joking, Lewis. If you can't tell if I'm joking, you shouldn't be a mod. What's your opinion on Nextcloud and other similar self-hosted projects? I don't know anything about Nextcloud at all. I know less than nothing about Nextcloud. I'm going to Google it, but admittedly, the only time you get if you ask me something that requires Googling is the time that passes between this and the next question. Nextcloud is a suite of client-server software for creating and using file hosting services. Yeah, that's above my head. I'm an idiot that fixes liquid damage on MacBooks.
Oh,
You officially went above my head. What was your favorite class in high school? Gym, obviously, because it was the one that least felt like a prison. You could talk to the people that were around you. You could play. You could negotiate amongst yourselves. It was the complete opposite of having to deal with the prison warden, aka the teacher. You had 40 minutes. You had 40 minutes a day where you didn't feel like you were in a prison, and that was gym and lunch. So gym and lunch, pretty much. The rest of the day was just kind of like being in prison.
Oh, sweet mercy.
Where did your cats go? There's one kitty sleeping over there. I don't know where the other kitties are, unfortunately. Smallpox is over. There are only 2 samples of it left in the whole world, in a lab in the USA and a lab in Russia. It's very heavily guarded. Smallpox is gone. If I said I was using Windows Server, I don't know, let's say I was using the most recent version of Windows Server, and there was a hack that came out, and then there was a patch, and somebody asked, hey, did you install that patch on there before you store my data? I'd understand it.
Oh,
Most people don't ask, hey, did you install a patch for Windows NT 4.0? They don't ask because nobody uses it anymore. So, like, do they ask if you have a smallpox vaccine? No, but that's kind of because we eradicated it. When will you start selling branded sand online? I should start selling sand. Our sand puts out fire from your lithium battery 10 times faster than Apple sand. What are your thoughts on electric vehicles as they relate to right to repair? The sad thing is that electric vehicles are supposed to be more reliable and easier to fix than ICE cars. The only reason they're not is because manufacturers are embracing anti-right to repair tactics as we're entering the phase of electric vehicles, which is really sad because people are going to associate electric cars with being against right to repair, when if anything, electric cars are easier to fix and require fixing less often because they're less complicated, and it makes me sick. But I understand why people associate electric cars with being less fixable, because manufacturers are starting to engage in cuntier behavior now than they did in the 70s. Dell Precision laptops are very similar to ThinkPads in that they're considerably easier to maintain.
Sweet mercy.
Thanks, Mr. Rossmann. From you, I've learned basic motherboard repair and have saved several hundreds of MacBook Airs, saving the school district I volunteer for money. If you're ever in the Iptix area, you're welcome to my house for some of my mom's tamales. Well, I have no idea what Iptix is, but I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I highly appreciate that. I'm glad you were able to pick some stuff for your school board. And let them know at the end of the day, let them know that how much money you saved them. Let them know, by the way, our school district would have had to spend $200,000 on all these machines. We were able to spend $3,000 and get the exact same thing. Here is a bill that would allow us to ensure that this happens into the future, that we don't have to dumpster dive to get parts, that I don't have to steal schematics and manuals from shitty Russian websites that are stealing them from somebody else. This is important, and here's why. Let everybody in your school district know how important this is, because most of them have no idea. Justin Millman, a board member of Repair Preservation Group, actually had somebody ask him when he said, listen, we can't get screens to this particular iPad, there's a shortage. Well, no, of course you can. You just don't want to. He actually called up Apple. I shit you not. This is adorable. This guy on the fucking school board of a fancy schmancy school district in Long Island, COVID passes the foundation of the social credit system. You either do as you're told, you have your freedom taken. Who decides what goes into your body? The social credit system... I kind of wonder I don't even think it's going to be something that's enforced by government. If we're on our way to a social credit system, we're already doing that to ourselves, where you have people arguing with their neighbors and blocking people on Facebook when they're family members and shit like that. Like, that roads was the foundation of that was built a while ago in America. What was I talking about? fuck? Oh yeah, this guy from the school board actually thought that
Oh,
you could just
sweet
call up
mercy.
Apple and get iPad digitizers from them. Your average person doesn't think right to repair is a problem because they've never actually tried. Most people would agree with it if they knew it was an issue, but they don't know it's an issue because they don't even believe that it could be an issue. Why can't GoPro make a camera that doesn't overheat and constantly fail? Because GoPro is a fail as a company. I have 2 videos on GoPro. I have one 34-minute video where I just live stream the process of me trying to do a live stream on a GoPro and all the errors before we even begin processing video. GoPro is absolutely pathetic. Thanks for fighting on right to repair. I do it on a daily basis in my household, whether it's an AC unit,
Oh,
a microwave,
sweet
or a fridge.
mercy.
It matters. I agree with you. I think the fact that Dell switched to their own GPU interface instead of using MXN for laptop. Isn't MXM something proprietary that they're forced to pay NVIDIA an ungodly amount of money for each time? Have a good day, anonymous fish. If you have a first or a second gen iPad, it's not about whether it can be fixed. It's about whether you want to pay somebody to fix that.
Oh,
They glue
sweet
the whole thing
mercy.
together, and it's easy to break the screen when opening it, so you're going to be paying a good amount in labor for that. And if you really do have an iPad from 11 years ago, it's probably worth $20 by now. Farm right to repair, any word on farm right to repair lobbying. I don't know what word you want except for yes. Like I'm not being a wise ass there, but other than yes. 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 You can see the 2 lobbying firms that I hired in the nonprofit budget video where I went through every single transaction in both bank
Oh,
accounts
sweet mercy.
and why they were spent, how they were spent, and what they were being spent for. But yes, lobbyist hired. It is viruses mutate. The more virus exists, the greater the chance it will mutate. Vaccinated people carry the virus less mutations. That sounds correct to me. Thanks for fighting. I read that one. Would it be better to have a machine changing the battery in the car instead of waiting for it to charge? Yes, but then how do you know you're not getting a battery from somebody that abused it and treated it like shit? Like if I have a battery with 8 cycles, do I want somebody else's battery with 2,000 cycles just so I could have a quick charge? It's a difficult thing to go over. Here's a conspiracy. Lewis is a robot and these AMA streams are machine learning exercises. Never know. Even if you have the best battery technology in the world, you got to think about this. Is our shitty American electrical grid honestly ready for 2 terawatt chargers? Because think about it. Right now you have Tesla superchargers where the max is 250,000 watts. Let's say you get better battery technology. At the end of the day, better battery technology doesn't mean jack shit if you can't deliver energy to that battery. You need to deliver energy to that battery. Do we really have the infrastructure across America to have a gas station that has 2 terawatt chargers? Is that the right word? Am I using the right suffix?
Sweet mercy.
You know what I mean. Like to be able to deliver 2 million watts to your car? I don't think so. I think new kids are more interested in studying software versus hardware. Hardware are the organs and software is how you use the brain, I guess, which is more creative. My uncle is a hardware surgeon. Didn't Tesla have a demo of swapping a battery instead of charging it, but they never actually released it? I haven't heard of that. Hi. El Paso, Texas. Ah, that's what it is. I think there are kids that are interested in hardware. It's obviously getting harder, you know. You see, when you have to solder instead of Legos, you can't really have a kid play with it the same way you could have a kid play with something else. And like, I wouldn't mind having a 10 or a 12-year-old mess with a soldering iron. I would be deathly afraid of having a 2 or 4-year-old mess with a soldering iron. Million equals megawatts. Yeah, okay, so megawatts. I'm being an idiot. So megawatt. What's the best thing people can do within all our local states to help right to repair? Obviously, is trying to target voting and local reps to support it. What else can people do? What best thing that people can do to help support right to
sweet
repair
mercy.
is thank you, Daniel, is get other people to share in the excitement of repair by helping them either A, save money by fixing their own stuff, B, get that nice little kick of dopamine that comes when you fix your own stuff, or C, help them make money by teaching them how to do a repair that they can do for others profitably. The way you get people to care about repair and the way that you build the largest coalition possible is by getting people to understand why you believe in what you believe in. You don't tell them. You get them to experience that joy for themselves. And that's what I try to do here. Like, you'll never see me holding a sign saying support right to repair.
Oh,
You'll never
sweet
see me
mercy.
walking up and down the street. Thank you, Leo. You'll never see me walking up and down the street with a sign. It's never going to happen. Support right to repair. Support right to repair. Support. That's not what I do. What I do is I share what makes me excited about it. I want you to be able to join in that. I want you to work on your own. I want you to take that MacBook that's 8 years old out of the drawer and then do the fix that I do in the video, see the fan spin and feel that. Like, really cherish that moment for a minute or two. How does it feel when you see the Apple logo and you hear the chime and you see the fan spin when you thought that shit was dead? Now, how do you feel when you go on Craigslist and you sell that thing for $500 and you use that money to pay your rent? Feels pretty good, doesn't it? I want to share that joy with you. And once you felt that joy, you will understand what our movement is about. You'll understand everything. And you won't need me to convince you of anything.
Sweet mercy.
You've already convinced yourself. That's what you do. I personally bought a Precision 7520 to upgrade the GPU to a 1050 Ti Mixum. It was listed as broken, but all you got to do is hold the power button. Your recycled machines that you purchase are in considerably better condition than the recycled ones that I get. I know that's not the easy answer, but that's the way movements grow. You get people to experience the joy that you feel for themselves. Stop repeating yourself. Go away. Stop playing the audio subs. Sweet mercy dislike. Yes, I kind of want to make it louder now. I'm tempted to make it louder. And I'll make it lower just for now. But don't tell me stuff like that. It makes me want to make it louder.
Oh, sweet mercy.
Took 2 days in a Dell Tech to say the motherboard was fried until I got it to work. See, that's a good feeling. And once you get that feeling, once you have that feeling, I got you. I got you. I don't need to tell you what to agree with. I don't need to guilt you. I don't need to hold a sign. I got you. I kind of want to make it louder. I want to add bass to it. I want to blow up people's subwoofers with it. I want to take Paul Daniels' voice and modulate it down to like 8 to 15 hertz and boost it so that you can't even actually feel it because your subwoofer is not powerful enough to create it, but it destroys the voice coil in your subwoofer as he says, "Oh, sweet mercy." Had an HP OfficeJet printer in college. 1.5 years in, had an issue. They wanted to charge me for tech support sessions when I reached out. Thoughts? I think that they've had to tell people to turn it on and off again so many times that they are tired of paying people to provide that advice without being compensated. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but I understand where they're coming from.
Oh, sweet mercy.
I emailed you my story about feeling blackpilled after 13 years at Apple, over a year in ASP. Thank you for inviting me to share my story. I look forward to hearing your thoughts. Thanks. Thank you, Ted. And don't be discouraged if it takes me 6 to 14 days to respond to your email. I never got my laptop back. No dice trash. And I was looking at moving to New Hampshire. The problem is I cannot find short-term rentals for under $2,250. All those short-term lease places on apartments.com are... they're lying. Like, they say short-term lease, and then you call them and they say no lease under 1 year.
Oh, sweet mercy.
I have a stupid expensive Dyson vacuum, and you can order every replacement part for every component except for the motor, but the motor failed. Dyson seems like the Apple of vacuums in many ways. But if you have health issues, vaccinate, cause even common flu, kill you, okay. That's not a functional sentence, sir. It doesn't make any sense.
Oh, sweet mercy.
I emailed you my I read that one already. It was also listed as not having RAM. It indeed already had 16 gigabytes into the keyboard. You fucking lucky bastard. Yeah, every time I buy laptops, I wind up getting scammed by scammers like Ascentech on eBay, where they sell me a lot of, and they say it's oh, it's just random, and then you go through it and you see that they have already, like, tried soldering on most of the motherboards and have already fucked them all up, and you're kind of, there's not much that you can do to actually turn that pile into working stuff or money. You know a lot about audio gear and sound. You have a past in sound engineering. Not really. It was a long time ago. I worked at Avatar Studios in 2007 and 2008 as an intern and then a technician, and I had aspired to be a sound engineer. I realized that since I'm not a musician, I'd be a failure as a sound engineer. So I wound up getting a job doing tech work, fixing consoles, audio modules, stuff like that. And but that was a long time ago. I don't really know jack shit about it now. I look at these modern digital mixers that they have, like, for live shows and things like that, and I am absolutely clueless. Never stop cranking the Paul Daniels. I don't intend to. I don't intend to, my friend.
Oh, sweet mercy.
Sweet mercy. I've been a fan of your YouTube channel for years. I've been jailbreaking my iPhone since the 3rd gen. The work you do is goated. A goat? Why, thank you. Good morning, Ace. Is there somewhere you announce these streams, or are they spontaneous? I do not announce them because I do not plan insomnia. If I could be asleep right now, I would not be reading random people arguing about COVID in a YouTube anonymous live chat, I assure you that much. I have a broken hard drive, suspected board issue. Would it be wise to use your services as an Ontario resident? If not, do you have another plug? I do believe there's somebody in the land of Canada already that does this, and if you are in the land of Canada, I would not suggest mailing. I don't suggest mailing stuff unless it's absolutely fucking necessary, especially data. Because, again, if they lose your laptop, fine, insurance can get it. But if you're in Canada and you mail it and it gets lost or stuck in customs, then you're fucked. You're actually fucked. Like, again, the insurance will never get you back your data from a dead hard drive. There's a gentleman on eBay, not on eBay, on YouTube, and he's called HDD Recovery Services. And I'm going to try and, I believe he's in Canada, and I'm going to try and find him right now and link you to him. I just want to make sure I got the right one. All right. So I'm going to make sure this is the right dude. I believe this gentleman is in Canada. I have to drag the window around a lot. Good morning from across the pond. Thank you for the €5. Because KDE is fucked up and a phantom window is taking up a bunch of my screen, I do unfortunately have to move my window around a lot to see what I'm actually looking at. Here we go. So if you're in Canada, as much as I'd love to take your money, I think you should give your money to this gentleman, because if it is within the same country, it means your package has slightly, your package is going to have slightly less chance of getting lost, which is important. So yeah, give that dude your money. No, your sentences don't make any sense. Bye-bye. You can't be condescending when you can't type in sentences in English. Okay. Why did you decide to repair MacBook specifically? I decided to repair MacBook specifically because when I started doing this, I was broke, and I could not stock parts to more than one computer because I had about $200 left. So I could not buy parts to every single computer in existence. I could literally afford to buy parts to one computer ever, the A1150 MacBook. And that is what I did. I bought 2 parts to an A1150 MacBook and then 1 part to an A1181, and that was that. Regarding why our society is so polarized, I remember watching Joe Rogan podcast episode 1736, Get Off Social Media. That is a big part of it. Do you think 21.9 will ever overtake 16.9 as the standard? I hope it doesn't. I really, I need more of this space. I don't need more of this space. We have more than enough this. I need more of this. Give me more of this. I don't want this. I want 4.3. Give me 4.3. Yeah. Yeah, that does not change my desktop. It just changes what's showing up. It just changes my OBS scenes. F8 to look at grid. F8 does nothing, and control this to switch from desktops doesn't do anything either. I successfully recovered a friend's data from their hard drive by watching one of Lewis's videos. I just had to remove a blown, burned component. What you should do, Apple 2GS, is show them their data, show them what you did to get it back. You don't have to tell them to support right to repair. That's the thing. You don't even have to tell them to support right to repair. All you need to do... Okay, I'm not going to be able to read that before it disappears off the screen. I've been binge watching your videos for 2 weeks now. Because of that, I've been looking at repairs. I have no experience. I know about your great forms, but I'm wondering if you know anything I can do practically. Because of that, I've been looking at repairs. I have no experience. I know about your form, but what can I do practically? Find broken stuff. Start with basic and simple repairs. And buy a working version of the thing you're buying broken so you have something to compare it back and forth with. The thing that helped me the most is having a working one so I can measure and see how everything was put together on the working one. If anything, buy 3. Working one, broken one, practice one. You take apart the practice one to get an idea of how to open it. You can kind of compare that to how the working one's put together. You can measure everything on the working one. If you fuck up the practice one, it doesn't really matter that much, and then you can attempt repairs on the broken one. And do this with old, cheap shit so you don't go broke. Again, do not buy 3 M1 MacBooks. Get 3 like broken Acer 5517s or something. I want my data. Yeah, let them know. This is how you got it. You don't have to tell them to support right to repair. Just show them everything you did. Northridge says he needs help with all the extra work he got. Maybe you can help out and get some income too. Well, that sounds like growing pains, and a big part, one of the hardest things in this industry is training people from scratch. That's why I'm working on stuff like the Repair Wiki, and honestly, I hope he's able to just sit people in front of his videos and say, you have 2 weeks, here's a bunch of videos, watch it, and hopefully when they're done, they may actually know enough that they can start working on his queue. Any bad customer's experience? Yes. Don't ask me to recite them because they immediately are forgotten the moment that they're gone. I don't keep that shit in my head. There's tons of them. I actually had a cunt this week that was threatening to leave a bad review and saying, this is supposed to take 2 days and it took 5. And the reason it took 5 is because he sent, this is pathetic. He sent it in and we sent him an email confirming something because I do not want to delete your personal data without having your say-so if I see that there's data on something. And it took him 3 days to respond to us. And because it took him 3 days to respond, he wants to give me a 1-star review. I get this shit like that all the time, but it immediately just gets washed off. Hey, I forget about it the next week. And honestly, even that one, I'm surprised I remember it. I usually have a rule, which is I forget. I think about something else and I forget it before I get home. You can't leave people's entitled cunty attitudes in your head, or it'll turn you into a shittier technician in a shittier repair shop. You can't run a good repair shop if you hate all your customers. And if you engage with all the petty shit that people will do in this industry, you will begin to hate people. And you will hate your customers. And it will make you a worse repair shop. What are the differences in educational requirements for repairing a motherboard versus designing one? I don't know because I have no idea how to design one. I imagine you need to know more about how a buck converter works than just saying this is the thingy that switches on and off to be able to design one. You need a lot more knowledge. Has anyone really been far even as decided to use even go want to more look like? I'll take your $5, but that's some word salad, bro. I don't know what the fuck that means. Yeah, what was I saying? I forget what I was talking about. Oh, the assholes thing. If you go back and forth on every single thing, if you actually remember it, you will hate your customers, and you will hate your business, and you will hate yourself, and you will take that out in your customers. I've been in this business for 13 years, and when someone walks in, even if they're aggravated, even if they look like they're having a bad day, anything they may take it out on me, hey, how's it going? What can I do for you? Let me open this up. Oh, bad. Okay, let's open this up. Let's see if we can figure it out. The promise, though, you look like you're going to be mad at me. Breathe in. You have to figure out a way to disarm people. You have to figure out a way to make them smile. You, even 13 years in, you need to be able to act like you have zero cynicism. You have to act like you are ready to disarm somebody who is ready to just choke you out because they're so pissed off because they're having such a bad day and their shit doesn't work and they don't have the money to fix it. You have to have that attitude. And you can't have that attitude if you're remembering the worst customer experience in your head. Because there are so many people who are going to come into your store who are going to act like cunts. You're not my dad, Jose. I'm not going to sleep when you tell me to. I will go to sleep when I want to go to sleep. But I appreciate it. Thank you for the 250 dopes. I appreciate the 250 dopes. You cannot remember those experiences. Again, just like that. Like a guy says, you told me it would be 2 days. It took 5. Because it took you 3 days to respond to my fucking email. And you ignored it. You ignored my email. You ignored my text message. What the fuck do you... I'm like, you can't let this shit stay in your head. Because if you do, the natural thing to do is to, like, I don't know, self-medicate, lose your mind, or just hate your customers. So what I choose to do is just Alzheimer's it. Just down the memory hole it goes. Because I want to be fresh for everybody who shows up. I like your advice for starting repair. Actually, I'm trying to fix an Einhell Power X charge battery pack where a MOSFET appears to be blown. Yeah, again, what you need to have multiple of the unit. Like, if you really want to learn repair, a working one you can practice on, one you can steal parts from, and the one you're fixing. If you actually think that you are going to be able to figure out everything about how this is supposed to work without being a genius, no. Cheat. You're allowed to cheat. I know you in school they said you can't cheat. Bullshit. This is the real world. This is not the prison world you grew up in. You can cheat. You can grab a working one and use that to teach yourself how the broken one is put together. You don't need to know everything immediately. Also, you can cheat by using another one for parts. You don't have to like spend 8 hours on Mouser trying to figure out if FHR chip is the same as the FXR because you can't find the FXR model anymore. Buy another one of the same thing and experiment. Having numerous different working copies of the same thing is going to make it very easy to figure out what's wrong with the broken one. The Australian Government Productivity Commission investigation report on right to repair should be released in the next few weeks. That is awesome news, Jim Hook, and I hope they make something of it. I was happy to see that they were willing to slap Apple really hard on Error 53, and I want to see them continue that work now. What do you think about M2 Mac rumors? I don't give a fuck about rumors for new products.
Oh, sweet mercy.
I forget what I was just talking about. Oh, the customers being assholes. Yeah, again, like people suck. Like it's the reality of the world. But you need to remain fresh for you to stay successful. It doesn't matter how much people suck. You need to have that fresh optimism for every customer that walks in, that fresh excitement, that fresh ability to immediately disarm them when they seem like they're about to scratch your face off, when they seem like an angry Clinton because you picked up the Clinton and the Clinton did not want to be picked up. And that Clinton seems like he's going to tear your couch into pieces and he's going to murder you and he's going to kick you with his giant legs and he is going to claw the fuck out of you. You need to be open to disarming that Clinton. Disarming that Clinton, and then hugging that Clinton, and petting that little Clinton. And in this case, the Clinton is your customer. Run, Clinton, run. And you're not going to get that if you remember all the bad experiences. So you do your rant, you finish it, you move on. Alzheimer's it all. Down the memory hole. What do you think of Microsoft repair policy at the moment compared to the rivals? Well, they've said that they are open to embracing right to repair, but they've kind of done what Apple did, which is, we'll tell you about it next year, bro, which means I'll tell you about it once I see what they've actually done next year.
Oh, sweet mercy.
Another thing, I got lucky. I was at 2070 from eBay. I was able to RMA that I got sent a 2070 Super for $300 during the GP. I don't want to hear from you anymore. This is making me sad. This is making me sad for the luck that I have. I spent over $20,000 with the Centec many years ago to buy a giant box of wholesale random laptops. Literally every single one they had tried to fix, and so many of them they fucked up horribly. I was lucky to barely make back any of my money on that box after 2 or 3 months of work. It was horrible. But that's what happens to me every single time I buy that type of stuff. Where do you draw the line of where the customer is no longer right? You can go off on them. I never believe that the customer is always right. They're not right. But the thing is, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if they're right. Me being right doesn't matter. Eli the computer guy is this video I 100% agree with. You can be 100% right and 100% fired all at the same time. Who cares if I'm right? I know I'm right. I know more than the customer about this. I'm the fucking repairman. All they know is whatever the garbage they read on the internet and the wishful thinking they have in their head because they're anxious because they're thinking that they're about to lose money to somebody that they don't know and they don't trust. I know I'm right. It doesn't matter if I'm right or wrong. It matters whether or not I am able to take this customer and get them into a point where they are relaxed, where they don't feel like they're about to get ripped off, where I can help them deal with their situation, help them manage their stress, and get them into a situation where I can get them to accept what's going on and have a dialogue with me on what we're going to do to make it better. It doesn't matter who's right and who's wrong. So many people focus on what's right and who's wrong. I think the shots becoming mandatory is a side effect of governments and leaders being bad at being leaders and being bad at getting their citizens to do what they believe the best thing is to do. I am not anti-vaccine. I am anti-shitty leaders and politicians. I'm not against getting a booster. It's just I'm against this idea that in 2021, the best way that we have to get people to get a vaccine is to say, quote, I'm losing my patience with you all, and have de Blasio go on television and go, we've tried being nice. Now we're going to do it the hard. We've tried that. Now we're going to force you. It's shitty leadership, and that's what bothers me more than anything else. I also got ripped off with a $500 broken 2080 that I was not able to fix. Okay, so I feel a little bit better now at your misfortune. I feel bad that I feel good about your misfortune, but you're too lucky, man. You gotta lose at least every now and then, just to remind me that we live in the same world. And thank you, Jimmy McThickus. You've probably given $25 or $30 by now, which is 25 or 30 more than I deserve.
Oh, sweet mercy.
Sweet mercy indeed, Leo, and thank you for the $2. Did you get a photo with Kevin Coolio? Kevin's going to become famous someday. Never got it back, Ace. We love you, Lewis. Make love to us, Lewis. I don't think I'm going to make love to you. Sonia, you don't have to time him out for that. That was a very, very innocent question that he had. But
sweet mercy.
I appreciate you watching, though. Thank you, Sonia. We love you, Lewis. Make love to us, Lewis. See, that you can time out. Okay. Time for me to get out of here. It is 1:41 a.m. 1:41 a.m. I will see you all later.
Oh, sweet mercy.
I don't fix GPUs. but he does.